Hey guys, yeah, welcome in. 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, turning into a positive one after that early morning dip, I guess you could call it, coming off that number that we got at 9:45. If you missed it, both PMI manufacturing, S&P manufacturing, and activity comes in lower than expected across the board, but almost in a sense that turned the market off of those initial highs to get that sell-off. Here is how things are shaping up right now. 0.54 for the S&P. To the upside, good to see back in positive territory. The Dow, can we make it 11 in a row for the Dow? 0.6 right now in positive territory. 0.3 for the NASDAQ. 0.4 for the TSX here in Toronto. Nice move for crude. If you're with us in the morning, I was highlighting some strength in individual energy names. Still more downside here for Bitcoin, Ethereum coming off the 24-hour period. 2.8%. We're off the lows on both, but still a little bit ugly to kick things off on the week. Apple, not so much as far as ugly is concerned. That is for sure. Here is how the overall S&P 500 is shaping up. Same story as this morning. Still a very, very mixed board. A lot of things basically flat on the day. Microsoft still positive, 0.45, but struggling a little bit to get any kind of momentum moving to the upside. Google, nice day, 1.5. Apple, 0.5%. NVIDIA there, almost a full percent. Broadcom's been strong all day as far as chip makers are concerned, definitely leading the way. AMD exactly flat. Intel now actually down 0.7% on the session. I want to mention Oracle there. There was a couple of strange volume spikes throughout the midday. Didn't amount to much as far as news is concerned, though. Meta, 0.6 downside right now. Netflix also 0.6 downside, coming off a pretty good week last week. Last week we saw a lot of strength in this group. The healthcare names, pretty mixed to kick things off today. If you missed it this morning, J&J dumping another 80% of what they own in that Kenvue spinoff from going back a couple months ago. Banks very strong today. Really nice day for JP Morgan. 2.3%, 2.4 to the upside for BAC. Wells Fargo, 1.8. Berkshire as well, 1.3 back to the upside. A lot of money obviously continues to pour into Berkshire. Speaking of, down there, CVX. Having a nice day, 2% higher on the day. Look at Tesla, wow. 3% in positive territory. Still some strength coming from individual retailers as well. Amazon, not one of them. Home Depot and Costco leading the way as far as retailers are concerned. Hope your Monday afternoon is going well. Let's get into a few things we were discussing if you're with us in the pre-market this morning. Everyone was wondering what to do with AMC as we sat down. It was pretty... it was off the highs that we saw going back to Friday after the close. That is not AMC, that's AMD. It was off the highs, as I was mentioning here in the pre-market this morning, but did hold a couple of significant levels on the resistance side. We've never been back to that. 650 was that initial support on the pullback after the close Friday. Again, if you missed it, Delaware judge saying, nope, they can't do this conversion. They will go ahead and refile for the same thing, but ends up halting initially out of the gate downside. It's been a grind ever since as we head back above $6 on decent volume here today, to say the least, to be expected for AMC. Sharif is currently showing holiday pictures, I think, to both Neil and Sean.
No. Don't you wish you could see them?
Actually not.
Right now, no. He actually...
it was
he had a chip in the top lens there. But his camera was still working perfectly fine.
Camera was working fine, so it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I just said Google basically the...
What's the purpose
Yeah, because
of that?
if that could be one of them for like the LiDAR, or I don't know. Anyways, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Hey, what's up? I'm Sean.
You just got to take it into the, what do they call it guys?
The Genius Bar.
Yeah.
No, but that's a hard... No. Genius Bar.
It's a hardware.
That's a hardware problem. Yeah, they're going to say, well, you cracked your screen, bro.
Well, obviously.
Oh, crack the lens, not the screen. We fire off the hot dog cannons because, here's AMC, man. Congratulations to everybody that's been in that today. Unfortunately, this guy was long in the pre-market and it got dumped off and we got out and that really, really sucked. But since then, it's just been straight to the upside, really. I shouldn't say the word straight is not appropriate because it did come back in and touch 550 a couple times and then gave you the bounce spot as well. I was busy really working back Tesla and Microsoft, and I'm going to talk about those trades when we get back. But welcome to the closing show once again, and there's AMC right back into where Brendan mentioned some of these pre-market levels. Still 650, still needs to be breached. That's what I'm waiting for. You could say, well, why would you go long down here? Out, out, out. There's an out at VWAP at 550. That's 50 cents. Why are we not getting out more? Because we want to be here for this. Look, we don't have that many shares left, so we'll see if it moons. I heard Prad talking about the same thing about his Tesla trade. That was a great out. We maybe regret it when it was down to 265.50 or so, and I was waiting for 264.50. More to come on that. But right there, I want to see a break. I think we can get it. Again, remember what we talked about, waiting for it to kind of coil up and then pop? Well, here's kind of a coil up again, and then there's the pop. I kind of get the same feeling like we're coiling up again, and if I'm going to be here, then I want it to pop, right? So it could be coiling up for a downside move. So let's watch out for maybe a 560 or 570 break lower to get out. But right now it's AMC. I'm just going to keep hitting the ape because, if it goes up to the upside, then apes unite once again. I am short right now, of course, in Google, and that's printing for now. So yeah, so far so good here as we get ready to see what happens here into the close. In what's been a pretty flat day, although the NASDAQ is now back to kind of highs, you're still trying to break through 15.6, right? We had that 15.5 bottom, 15.6 top. Let's see where we can figure it out.
Stock pickers days, we usually call them, where you don't really have the markets break out for you. So if you're a futures trader, I hope you've got the perfect levels because you really have to be in the right names at all times. I'm going to show you the daily chart because AMC turned around at 625, and we'll get to that in a bit. So remember when you have pre and post market action, sometimes these tops, these levels come into play after the market opens. So about 620 was that local high on the daily. I didn't have anything till the open. It halted down. It gave you the 5 bounce, which I got out of it twice. Scalp trade off the 5 bounce, and when it broke, I went for the short underneath 5. It got to 490. I was able to get some out at 490, and then kind of got out just as it broke up flat. I actually had an order here that I left, got in out flat, thank goodness. I had a 6 break that went to 610, and then came right back in for break even. But that's about all I've done with AMC. Just a couple of quick shots in and out, not even holding on to it for long. But that 620 that we showed you on the daily, well, the first time you got there, after the open, it rejected 620. So that's a pretty big level when you pop this out to the higher time frame. When in doubt, zoom out. If it gets through this, I think there's some real upside. So 625-ish would be the local high of the day because I see 623 here. Always look at those big levels on the daily chart. If when I took that 6 long, I got out of it and zoomed back out. I probably should have taken a shot shorting this level back into VWAP. I feel like that might have come and gone, however.
All right, let's talk some chips. You and I, Sharif is here. You and I were just talking about the airlines with that UAL move this morning, kind of interesting. But, I mean, so strong all year. Have the airlines been so strong all year? Has this one been? NVIDIA trying to get back to the upside here, 1.3%, ends up holding that nice support from Friday at the end of the day. Whoops. Baird this morning with a nice note on NVIDIA.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one that was hurting last week as a result of the weakness by TSMC. And because TSMC makes all their chips. Anyway, it looks good today, up 1.3%, 450. We flirted with that level during the midday show. Yeah,
I mentioned this morning, the latest was 530, I think it was, the price target, $530. We got 500 last week. We got 525. They're just trying to outdo themselves at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of expectations on NVIDIA that'll get really interesting on the 23rd, I believe it is, when those earnings come in, because expectations are high. It was such a gigantic blowout. When I was in Paris, it was the only thing that I cared to look for was, okay, well, when NVIDIA reports, I'm going to actually look at that number. That's the only time I actually bothered to see what's going on in the market. I absolutely had to. 23rd is going to be similar to that. There was 2 levels I was watching. 450 was a bigger deal maybe before we had that NASDAQ craziness at the end of the day yesterday. But then you had the NASDAQ rebalance on Friday, and the bottom that got put in on some of these names you wanted to respect. So I had a 440 for my higher time frame. You had wicks down underneath that level. It got down to that price. I was able to get the long right off the bottom, so it hit 440 and a half, came right back up, broke 441. I took the break back up through my stop underneath, And I covered at 443 because another thing that I decided I was going to pay attention to was closing prices on Friday on all of the big 7, all the big NASDAQ names. I thought there'd be big levels there. This closed at 443.09 on NVIDIA in particular. So when it was dumping off, the second I saw it wick, and it wicked above 443, came back in. I got out at 442.85. I was like, yeah, it's probably rejecting that 443 and could shoot to the low. So it was in. It was a quick trail out. I also shorted the 450, which that worked out about. It was a tight stop at least. That's about all I could say there. Like, it broke 450 pretty big to 51. When it retested it, I wicked out above 450, only to see it drop to 445. Thankfully, NEO was an easier trade off $12, but we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, strong mover off the top here, off the bottom on NVIDIA. Were it to reclaim 450, I suppose we should just look for 51 double top break.
We'll slap a fail a little bit on this Microsoft. We tried to put on a new position right there. Unfortunately, I pushed the wrong key. Got flattened right away as I was putting a stop order up here, put in the wrong price. But I do like the Microsoft short. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Microsoft is my #1 stock, but Google's trying to take that down right now as well as we shorted off of 122 right there. All right, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about AMD. My #1 fail stock of the day. So we'll flush ourselves down the toilet right here. I feel we made money back in Tesla, which is why. Again, I just feel like shorting it. So we shorted it under 110. The good thing is we got away from it. We didn't have to keep shorting it all the way up until we eventually got stopped out. So we kind of got away from it. But still, I thought we were going to be coming to the downside here on AMD, and it looks like right now this is the level that we should have been waiting for. So hey, that's going to happen sometimes. Happens to everybody. You short the wrong prices, you short the right prices. Either way, you know, I think you got to wait. Whatever these names, NVIDIA, AMD, they have such sort of gusto about them. And what I mean by that is like once they get going, it's very, very tough to stop these names because you don't know. Trading in the middle here, not great. So I feel like we've already sort of watched this 110. That was the bottom. We shorted into that. We just sort of lost. What I'm saying by it was negative. It's like we're shorting in here into 111 and getting out on the 111 break when all we had to do was give it about 30 more cents. So I'm sort of thinking now to myself, don't do anything yet, and I talked about this earlier, until you're at key support and resistance levels. Just like that NVIDIA was 440, I think it was, right? Once you're around some of these levels, that's where you need to start playing with it. Like there's 440, and here's 450. So like as long as you waited and didn't sort of get caught in the middle, then you probably never got stopped out, because if you're taking a 450 short, you're probably giving it to 451, right? I mean, trying to make more than $1, so 1-to-1. And the same thing on the bottom here. If you just would have waited for that key level. So that's what I'm trying to do better on some of these names. I think Meta is very similar. Once you get to these key levels, you want to short it. I'm going to have some good examples here. Look at my price right now on Google, and we'll talk about Microsoft when we get a chance. But just play the safe trade. And I think Neil said that earlier, or Sharif did, or someone. It's like, just play the best trades. You don't need to sit here and do this on AMD, right? We got in too much and out too much, just creating too many hits. So not a great trade there. I'm not super proud of it, but hey, we'll get back into AMD, especially if it gives us that 1150.
All right, here's the note. This morning we were discussing Apple. Showed this chart when we came back on. This daily chart for Apple tells the story. Almost back to 200, obviously. All-time highs, obviously, over the past few days before this pullback started. But yeah, Bloomberg, the first report is essentially saying that they went to Foxconn and they said, hey, can we produce for the iPhone 15 pretty much the same as what they did last year, which is being taken, obviously, as a bit of a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you heard that consumer demand, especially for electronics and electronics that use chips, was down. This is a good sign because it shows that the demand for Apple products is still strong. And that was reflected today by Deutsche Bank. They raised their price target on Apple from 210 to 180. So good look for them, and it's been a good chart this year.
Yeah. I was talking about that article, if you're with us this morning. I was reading an article on the weekend suggesting that the iPhone mini is going to make an appearance again in the 15 version, where they skipped over the 14 version. I'm still not really sure why that happened, but that would be, I think, a huge benefit as well.
But don't forget what you said to me after that.
Which would be?
That you may adopt the iPhone.
I never said such thing. Stop lying, Sharif. Stop lying.
Did you really say that, Brennan?
He did.
I don't know. I mean,
I have no idea.
pretty much all y'all are. Well, I mean, when I say that, I mean all the guys here.
Yeah, I was.
They're
I
all
mean, I was
iPhone
a Pixel.
people.
I mean, honestly, so I've played both of those, and I think you could just exchange them. It doesn't even. It's like, you know, if you're in the ecosystem of one, maybe just stay. I mean, I still have Google. All of our work stuff is on Google Drive. Obviously, there's a Google Drive app. I like the 15 mini just because I just feel like it gives better form factor for different people. I mean, you know, you carry the phone in your pocket, smaller phone.
Something for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, it's just, and I feel like as long as Apple does that, they'll hit the right market. And I mean, so Neil hinted on the rebalancing that happened on Friday, and we saw a big move down there. There's 15 million shares go off right here at 192.50 into the rebalancing, and then today it's just upside. This is again a very positive stock for me today. We hit it early, right away, right off the open. We're going to play off this pre-market bottom. We wrote down 192. That would be the dream if we ever got that. But when that didn't come in early, we're like, okay, let's just treat 193 as if it was 192. So there it is. Take the long. We made $1.70. Like for me, that's a good trade off the open. Like $1.70 straight to the upside. Then we averaged it back in when it came back to 194, and then got out for about a 10-cent hit before falling all the way back in. And just now trying to get its bearings again. I love Apple. I think you want to continue to long. Has nothing to do with allegiances to Apple. I'm short Google right now, right? So let's just wait to see. Oh, that's funny. I should go long Apple, short Google. Then we'll start all the controversies. But right now, no. I like it. I think it works. This is what the daily chart looks like. Sharif nailed it. It's been a good chart all year. Any pullbacks have been bought up by Berkshire or any ETF you can possibly name. I think it's in like, honestly, 650 ETFs or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It's an absurd number.
It's an absurd number. And Apple just continues to climb. And I'm here to tell you, and it's not rocket science, Apple's going to beat their number, I would think. And just a matter of waiting to see where. I don't even know if they're going to guide, but I want to hear about India. I want to hear about the Apple car, if that's ever going to get talked about again. And yeah, obviously they have Vision Pro. That's just out now. So I think there's so many levers here. They talked about you. Oh yeah, you were here. Yeah. When they talked about, where was it? Right here. Their AI possibly coming through. Randomly, one day it spiked up to 197 or 198. I'll have to go find that exact day, but that would make sense if it's right there. And came right back in. So I don't know if Apple can play nice with ChatGPT or something. Who knows what the next the next level is here for Apple. I'd say you're looking at 200 probably before 180. So
I'm just staring at specifically not just the daily chart of Apple, but specifically that daily chart of Apple is so nice with all the crazy wicks on it. But you can tell a chart moving up when you see one. If there's an excuse for not, this morning when we were talking about Apple, I like the $3 trillion mark. I really have the entire time. When it dipped down there in the aftermarket, I really thought that was going to be the golden dip buy, kind of like NVIDIA 450, 451 into 450. I thought that would be the same thing. It never came down there, so what are you going to do? I thought 195 was a short, and the only reason I'm not short 195 or wasn't short 195 was because of Coinbase, because Coinbase was at 100 at the open. So that was a level, like no way you're going to miss Coinbase at 100. Took multiple swings at that. But 195 to me was going to be a sell zone on Apple just because of what happened the last few days. Demonstrated pop. This was the AI day, pop and drop 98. And every single day since, it's been a holding above 192 and then lower highs popping off the same price, popping with lower highs. 195, 195. I just thought it was a short till it broke one of those if it got to 95. It did. I was over on Coinbase, which is not on our list, so we'll just... Coinbase is back at 100, but I have a bad feeling about this. I don't know why. I mean, I'm thinking that because it did the same over-under. I was short it early, was scalping it underneath 99, and the second time through, it ran stops. I jumped right back in the trade. It trailed out 96. Everything was fine. I tried to short VWAP. That was looking good. I re-entered to get stopped out, and I have not touched it since because once it stopped out here, okay, well, it held support, broke higher, low. Like I just haven't found... I guess I could have been long. I suppose that makes sense. Stop shorting it. Maybe it was a long, but I wasn't thinking long. I was thinking short off this level. And you just wicked 100 again on Coinbase.
It did? Oh my God, I was short that name.
The stock is ridiculous. It's relentless. It's just every time you really think it's going to fall apart in this last little run here, it's managed to continue. But this feels different. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but this feels a little bit different. And I keep thinking this is the move that takes it back into the 85 to 90 range. Obviously, it's made a really, really nice rebound today. So if Apple gets to 95, I think that can be a short. Coinbase, if it pops up and tests 100 again, I probably take another shot at this. But I don't know how successful it usually is when something makes that kind of a bullish bounce off a wipeout to try and go back and short the same levels. But as long as you have your out, I am always willing to get stopped out at a high like this and then just jump back in the trade. I would do the same thing here. Like if you're short 100 and it blows out 130, you got to be willing sometimes. If it goes right back and rejects that level, just jump back in. As long as you have a tight stop, you can probably take a few swings at it. Coinbase it's a weird one, man, because this should have just dumped all over itself.
Before we go back, thanks for doing that. I was going to do a new position because I just got tired of watching AMD just keep on going to 25 there and then stopping. So I took an initial short here. It's not a huge position. We'll see if it can come in a little bit for us. But this is just a trade that I'm in right now. It's a short of AMD. And I always say preach patience. So I'm pretty impatient right now because the market, I feel like if you want to get into a trade, and you don't have to get into any trades, I think the better one is to wait for a little more upside. So we'll wait to see if we can, get stopped out around this 1130 area or so. I was really trying to wait for 1160, but let's just wait to see right now. We'll get into this position as down goes AMD a little bit here. So that I just want to talk about that quickly because I just mentioned about some tops. I mean, if you're going to look at this Google trade that I'm in, it's basically the same thing. Google came in here. I did not want to wait for this exact level of 122. So we got involved at 85, 86 there. Now you're seeing we're starting to ring some Reggies as it's coming back in to the low of the after. I keep saying like low of the day, but obviously I don't mean low of the day. Low of the afternoon coming into play, 120, 140. So we just took another piece out there at 58 for 30 cents. So just want to bring that up to everyone's attention because we are in that one. And then I did update my AMC stop just in case for that one. We just got filled on something. Just in case, because right there, if AMC breaks this level, I was sort of thinking 85s, then we'll get out, and then we'll rethink about this down here at 560, where we're barcoding for a bit. So a breakthrough of 85 or so on AMC, we'll get out for that 80 cents, and then we'll work on it after that. But right now, AMC is trying to go back to the upside, which is nice, looking for a 560 bid if it comes down.
All right, we had Shopify on there next. There was another upgrade. I was just double checking. It was actually just 0.8. I thought it was more than that on the week last week. So up 0.8% for the entire week last week, but it seemed very, very strong. Nice look, though, today for Shopify back to the upside. A little bit initially anyways, but we end up fading that off. I guess you got to go back a couple of weeks, or is that initial move back above 60 and then 65? But, man, I mean, still has a little room to go here.
Yeah. Well, here's the look. Analyst Michael Morton for MoffettNathanson saying that he likes what Shopify is doing by expanding into enterprise. They've had order fulfillment issues that have lingered and brought down the company, so they're expanding into other fields, and it looks good. He thinks that's going to make up for the decline again in fulfillment. Should be noted, these guys report August 2nd. So we'll get a good look at what they're all about.
Yeah, we'll get Shop next week. We'll get Apple that we just talked about next week as well on Thursday. I mean, a huge week coming up this week, obviously, but lots to look forward to next week as well.
I'm not gonna talk Shopify. We talked about it this morning. I liked 65 for long and never got there. So it ended up kind of a nothing burger. Wish that attention had been put toward the Chinese ADRs. So I'm going to pivot very quickly here to show the insanity of the Baba chart. I just got on the bit of Neo, and I'll show you why in a second. But Alibaba went ham. The news really was just very ambiguously that there was going to be some policy changes to promote growth, to promote consumer spending, that was going to be able to help the e-commerce industry, help the EV industry as well over in China, and the market gobbled that up. There's been some monetary easing as well that's helped out, and Baba started going ham. The program buying was in there. I shorted off of, I think it was Wednesday's high very briefly. Like, it did not last very long. If I show you the 3-minute chart, look at that. It's like, we're in and we're out. That's if you got to take a short, at least you're not holding on to it. But it should have been a long, no question about it. Once things did settle down, like Baba made this high at about 11.20, and then a lower high here at 12.30. That's the time, not the price, obviously. And so right around that same time, like after that high was made on Baba, Neo was wicking the $12 level. So I saw it get to 12, break 12. come back under. I shorted it under the second time. It stopped out the top. It immediately came right, the second it stopped me out, it came right back down. I jumped right back into the short and got 99s. It's been holding 1180. So you'll see me in this. I think VWAP, maybe you get VWAP or something along those lines. But what an unbelievably absurd run those were at the open. We've said this before, but sometimes when the Chinese ADRs get going, they are just a trend that you want to have all the way until lunchtime. And it was one of those days. I got caught looking at the levels and kind of not realizing that it was just, quote, levitation. Maybe you should have been reading the tape instead of the charts a little bit more. Sometimes you should just be looking, as a day trader anyways, when you see that kind of velocity on the tape, you just kind of forget about everything and just try to join that trend until you see something drastic. And really, you probably shouldn't have had any trouble if you were only long in these. One little hiccup that would have been trouble holding on to here on NEO, but when you look at it in depth, like it pulls back 25 cents, but that's a bounce exactly off 11. If you can't dig yourself into that, I don't know what else there is, because it goes straight to 12. Like 11 to 12. Like here at 10 o'clock, you're getting a bounce where the low is 11.01 or 11.02. It bounces higher, and there's really no deep pullback until it gets to 12. And that pullback was only like 19 or 20 cents. That was ridiculous. It's NIO. I just got into Coinbase, so we're going to see what happens trying to short this name back at the 100 level.
We reloaded AMD and got in and out a little bit as well. AMC at $6. I see some talk about that in the chat. Is Shopify a long, as it says on the board, with a question mark? Not really today. I mean, if you've been long Shopify today, as long as you got these bottoms, great. But it actually opened up pretty strong on that note that Sharif mentioned. So let's just see where it goes from here. For me, I'm into Shopify, obviously being here in Canada. This is like our big pride and joy at this point, I guess. So we'll wait to see where it goes from here. I don't know. I feel like COVID highs. I mean, let me just call up Shopify.
COVID highs.
Oh, wow, yeah, it's not getting anywhere near there. What I was going to say is there's going to be this huge letdown because everybody and literally everybody and their mothers, and I think my mother as well, no, she wasn't doing it, but opening up stores and everything, online boutiques and things like that during COVID. So Shopify was the place to go. I mean, it's very easy to do that. And then since then, there's been obviously a lot of competition that have come through. But hey, man, if your store is already built on Shopify and you're there and you're happy and they, I think they're a world-class company, nice upside move from here. So you're getting that smiley face again, trying to complete it all the way back. I'd say you look out for this 200 period, and what a surprise, it's sitting roughly at $80. So the high we've got to is 71.72, just back into where we were back in April, which is a long time ago. This is a weekly chart. This is April of last year. So we've done a lot of work to get back, man. Shopify is still a double, about 130% from its bottoms. I still think there's some room to go on Shopify, and I wouldn't short this one. I feel like there is some good opportunity here. I'll short it today against VWAP because I just don't think the market's doing too much. But if I am not mistaken, I don't think there's a huge Neil. Oh no, where's my trade ideas thing is closed. I must have closed it by accident.
Hang on.
Go find it. Find out, go to Neil's screen. I just want to see
2.5% short float.
Is that it? Yeah, so I was going to say, I didn't think there was a big short float on Shopify. So, no real reason that this thing should squeeze higher. But, imagine if there does get to be a short float on this name and we do get that squeeze action. I like Shopify for a long term. Would rather it pull back into the 50s. But here at 66, I guess it's not the end of the world. So let's see if it gets to 80. Still Shopify. We'll wait for earnings before we pull the trigger on anything over there. All right, let's go back to Tesla because I'm excited to talk about that and some of our other positions.
Side we go. Back above, in fact, Friday's high. So was that the pullback, I guess? Post earnings, here's a couple of things to note. You mentioned this morning, which was kind of interesting. We talked about this when it first came out, going back to last week. But more meetings to come in India. I wish they would come up with a $24,000 Tesla in other countries outside of India. That might be a good idea. There was a couple of analysts with notes this morning on Tesla, but as I mentioned, they're back above Friday's high, which was day two to the downside. But maybe more to come. Maybe some consolidation needed here already.
Yeah, well, 270 was kind of the top, right? 269.85 today. But it was very interesting when Prime Minister Modi came to the United States, I believe a few weeks ago. He met with Elon Musk in New York ahead of Prime Minister Modi's meeting with Biden in Washington. And when he came out of that meeting, he was pretty, direct that they are going to open up a gigafactory in India. It's just a matter of where and when. And now today we got an idea, or not today, but previously we got an idea of what they want to build in India. And here's the thing, Brendo. They export their cars that are made in China to Europe. Are they going to export these Indian-made cars to other places like North America?
For sure they are. Yeah. Especially if it's maybe that's where we get the Model 2.
There you go.
If it ever is a thing. But nice look, guys. Back to the upside for Tesla. Yeah, rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by everyone you see on the show. See what's moving in the moment. Check out the QR code, bottom right corner of the screen, guys. Take advantage of this if you haven't. Great deal, 20% off. TraderTv.20. Shout out to our friends over at Trade Ideas.
Damn you, Brendan. I was just trying to speak about something there, and then all of a sudden he just comes right over top right there. But yes,
I don't know why I find that so funny.
Trade Ideas.
It happened to me once already, so.
Oh, it did happen to you already? Okay. Yeah, so I won't take it personally. But yeah, I'm excited for the Tesla bike. I think you got the semis, you got the truck, you got everything going through. And now you have talk, obviously, about India, which takes away some of the pressures that are in China, right? And so I think that if you're going to have that, Prime Minister Modi and all that, I mean, obviously speaking well with the U.S., I don't think there's as much controversy at all with politics or things like that. I'm not going to get into it, but human rights and everything like that, obviously it's going to be an issue. So we're going to have to wait to see how India and China deals with that, and if there is any more push through for Tesla or Apple or Starbucks, things like that. Like, I wonder, you guys tell me, I don't know if there's anybody here watching from India currently, but is Starbucks currently, are they popular in India? And if not, are they? Yeah, because I think that's another big moment too. Like, imagine Starbucks announces, because they're opening like 1,000 stores a day. Obviously it's not that much, but in China, so maybe Starbucks might have some flow through on that kind of a trade as well. But yeah, so let's just talk about Tesla quickly. Yeah, we got our what's handed to us pretty easily here on Tesla today. Why? Well, because we didn't trade it very well. And I mean, that's what we talked about here. And I'm okay to talk about it because we were short in here. Where's my sticky note? I'm going to stick behind pretty much every idea that I'm written down on here because I believe in the work that I do and sort of, where these stocks could potentially go. And I thought that we had a great top here, and it was a good top, but only for one time at 262.60. So we had that short back in. Like, that's a 260 take. So don't cry for me, Argentina, because we had, $3 winner there, or $2.50 in. Then we got some out there, took a hit there. This was one of the last fills right before, we were off there, but we liked that 265. Then 265 broke. Then you might have saw me trading this with actually Prad. And we had this short off 267.50, and then there's an out right there at 266.20. And then we were just waiting for a little bit of a dip down into 264. That didn't come through, but there was that 265.50 print. Then we came back up, shorted it again, and then got out just for a sneeze right there at 268. So we are going to be red on this name today. I'm hoping not for long. We should have just reshorted that 270. You guys know I tried to short Microsoft. I tried to short, I did short Google into that, and I am short AMD right now. So all is working well. But that 270, maybe that was a piece of the pie there to solve it. But, like if you're going short 270, then I think you got to also look into this area here of 272 or so as possibly getting stopped out in and around there. So maybe that's 271.50. So it's pulling back. I feel like I'd rather go long. It's up 3%. So did I miss this 270? And would have I normally been there if I was paying attention? Yes, but I wasn't. So, trade the best setups. I think Tesla gave it to you up there at 270. Barcode, then drop. I don't like it right now. We'll see if we can get some support somewhere and then go long, because this name is really the juggernaut. Because look what's AMD doing. Here comes AMD. We got to take another fill down here. Like, we just reshorted this name. So it just came back up and we just reshorted it again. So if we can get a fill down here near this 200 period, there it is. Yes, sir. Let's go. We'll spin the money. We're back here now, guys. So here it goes. Nice move to the downside. We're going to take reasonable trades and scalp them out. And if there's a big move to come, we're on it, man. We've got 30 cents on Google, $1 on AMC, and now 15 cents on AMD.
Yeah, I might have missed a couple of trades in Tesla, but this was one of the 2 or 3 stocks where when I was looking at the big cap tech names and their closing prices on the NASDAQ rebalance thingy, This was at 260, so once it presented a double top breakout at 260, I just wanted to have the breakout from that level. It got to the local high at 60, so you had your afternoon close to high. It was right to get out at that moment when it wicked that 262 top, but it was wrong not to reload it at 260. So good out, bad not to re-enter it. Sometimes you're just looking at something else, and that's part of it. Other times when the entry comes in, you're getting up after the 11 o'clock show to go into the bathroom. We'll let you guys guess which one of those two things is actually true. I definitely missed another double top breakout here. Again, right after 11 o'clock, there was an opportunity to get a double top break on Tesla. It just trended up. I didn't get in until it was a 268 break, which was mentioning in the chat, like, look at this double top on Tesla. It's also the high from Friday. How can you, I mean, if you're going to take breakouts on a trending stock, why not? Was able to scalp the first dollar, and then it kind of wicked 269.5. That got me out. It eventually gets to 270. I wasn't really thinking a 270 short, like Sean just said. I mean, hindsight being 2020, when I pull the 15-minute chart up, I can see all the reasons why you'd want to think 270 and 275 would be the turnaround spots for Tesla. Of course, I've decided to go with Coinbase again. So 99.83 is my short on Coin, as it did not exactly the same thing as before. So it wicked the 100 level, got up to 138. So it's basically the same high. Like, this is 139 cents. That's 36 cents, and that's like 37 cents. So it wicked the same thing, grab some more shares when it gets underneath, so sell on the weakness. This time, I didn't have, like, I had to stop here at 100 even, and that's why I got stopped out. But this time, I'm not really stopping at the 100 even. I'm giving it to the high. Going to take some out at the 50, the even, and then hopefully we get a move down into VWAP on Coinbase. But Tesla, it really does feel like if the market's going up, this is the one you want long. So I don't know about a 270 break. Maybe a 65, 66, somewhere in there could be a dip buy zone on Tesla. I don't know if I want to be fighting this. 270 you can short because you might risk like so little on it. But anything else, I think you want to try to find a way to join along.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for some support levels to come through. Yeah, let's do this right now. Why not? If you guys are interested at all in joining Day Trade the World, and from perhaps more of a part-time basis, this is the program for you right here. It is called campus.daytradetheworld.com. You could trade real money and gain real experience, right? And so Neil and I have been part of Campus for a while, and right now, this is run by Day Trade the World. Neil and I hired students before, and I think even behind us, you know, if you only have a couple hours in the day, why not try to sign up for this? This is basically sort of what I was going to get at is, like, there's no risk to anybody. If you are interested, unfortunately, you do have to be located outside of the United States, and actually right now just in Canada. But if you are interested in this, let's just throw out your applications. Go to campus.daytradetheworld.com. The best part about this, in my opinion, is the program structure. If you don't like it, that's fine. Phase 1, learn everything. Learn everything about online trading. There's so many of you out there that wonder how Neil and I got started, things like that. This is very, very easy. There's exams that you go through. We actually have to pass a test. You guys have to do yours. Then,
I haven't done it yet.
As we go. That we have to get tested every year on the basics. Then plus you got the software, all the software that we're talking about. Then you got to go into TMS, which is training mode. I'm still not sure if this is training mode Supreme, training mode Superb.
Supreme
I don't know.
Was, I
Supreme,
think,
Supreme, whatever. Superlative. Oh shit! Did I just say superlative?
Well, no, it's the.
Let's do that. Give me the word of the day, Neil. I wish my trading was more superlative today. But join it, campus.daytradetheworld.com. Make your dreams come true.
Yes.
Today.
I think it's a great program.
Yeah, hit that
I think
QR
it's
code.
The downside, all you got to do is put the time and effort in. And for anyone that's in the U.S., unfortunately, like you can't be in the U.S. But for those that are interested, that are in other countries that Day Trade the World operates, all you got to do is like apply and then complain that it's not anywhere but Canada, and then
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, let's bug these guys.
Bug them to do it.
Because we know the people that are in charge, and they love getting bothered.
100% they love getting bothered, and they love reminding.
And you can even just say, "I sent you."
That's fine. And you're right. I haven't done my compliance test. I have 9 days.
Wow, Neil. I need a slap on the. Oh, by the way, AMD right now.
I do have to do my compliance. It's a yearly compliance. Every Day Trade the World trader has to do it on a yearly basis. It's just it's normal.
Look at AMD right now. Holla, let's go, man. We booking it up right now. Nice little downside push here for advanced micro devices. So let's see if we can get, oh, did I just get 72s? No, I did not. Okay, so this is going to look pretty good here. We just got to get, I'm bidding 72s. Oh, no. Using the wrong gateway there, bidding a NASDAQ gateway there, and it hit 72 and bounced. Should have used something else. We'll wait to see if that can come through. What you might have saw me switch over to right now is we are just days. Get out of here, login. I don't got no login. Right now, 1 day, 23 hours, 20 minutes, and 12 seconds, 11, 10. It's doomsday. No, there's nothing about that. Because right now, you got 98.9%, Neil. Wow. 98.9%. That leaves us with 1.1% chance of this right there. So we'll see if we get half a point or the quarter point that's in there right now. The funny thing is, you know, we've gotten some good numbers recently. I almost thought that this 1.1 should be right on this side where you get no raise whatsoever, but I'm guessing that it looks like they're definitely not cutting, and it seems like there's not even a chance for a hold right now.
No chance.
No chance. You've got no chance in hell.
That's what you got.
You know, that's what Vince would say right now. So we'll see if that comes through. But, you know, The Undertaker had an absolutely perfect WrestleMania record until for some reason they made him lose to Brock Lesnar.
I thought that was stupid.
So we'll see what happens right now with this. Is there no chance at all of a quarter point hike? Well, it's looking more and more like that is almost 100% likely. So again, this is not an exact science by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm pretty sure that the people that are building this. Unbelievable, I missed that AMD, and now it's up by so much, but that's okay.
That's how
sometimes gateways, gateways get you that way, and but now we're starting to rip upside.
I would say temper your expectations for sometimes the amount of volatility when everyone knows what's going to happen and we're going to get as expected.
Yeah.
That just means at 2:30 on Wednesday, I expect less. 2 o'clock I expect less, but like maybe at 2:30 we can have at least something going on there. I did get that 99.50, so ran the register, that little bounce on Coinbase. I would love to, if it wants to get up here again and put a lower high, that'd be great. Instead of actually running 100 each time, a lower high would be fantastic to try and re-enter that one, add back in. One more thing, we talked about Tesla. So that little rollover the market's trying to do, Tesla bounced off 268. Which, oddly enough, that was the same, I keep zooming out here, that was the Friday high. So Friday high, that was the breakout price, and it bounced off 68. I'm sitting here thinking 265, and now it's giving you the 68 bounce. Might take a pot shot at that. If I see it down there again, and we're not absolutely cratering, I might take a pot shot. But the market looks a little weak for that. The last thing I want to be doing is buying a dip right as the NASDAQ is turning red. If we go red, that's a moment where you might want to be thinking about, I don't want to say get out of longs, but maybe a little bit of a flip because things can always accelerate there. So I do like the idea of a dip buy in Tesla. I'm just not happy with the timing at this particular moment. There were some other small cappers that were moving. I saw someone mention this one, so I'm just going to get it out of the way. I saw someone in the chat just throw out TUP as if Tupperware was, I guess it's going down, so I guess it is doing something. This might get a bit spicy if it gets down to $1. So rejected the breakout, got to 180. That's a level on the daily, but we're not going to get back there, so no point going back to it. However, we can be at least a little bit concerned with the $1 level on Tupperware. For it to make a rejection of the $1 break, I remember vividly because I was long that break and didn't reverse to the big breakout today. I think this is worthy of a bounce play. If it gets down in here some point this afternoon, 1 to 105, you'll probably see me take a shot long. I think I'd rather stop out at 98 or 99 if I get 1s and 2s long, but it's a long ways away from there. Tupperware, what goes up must come down. I mean, these penny stocks are there for a reason, generally speaking. So it's on my radar. I'm not going to just sit in front of the bid, but if I see anything on that dollar bid, I'm going to take a shot at it. And by anything, I mean probably like 1 million shares.
All right, AMD. You know, you thought you could put one by me, AMD, but honestly, nah, we're two on this one right here. AMD goes all the way back up to the upside, and we missed that fill at 72. But look what it did. It just gave us one of these opportunities.
I'm reloaded.
Thanks. Come back again, man. Back up there to 111 again. Look at that other short right there at 111. Then guess what? Just fell right back down, and we just took a 76 out right there. I'm not even bidding 72 anymore. Now we're switching it up. Let's go into the low 60s here, or mid 60s or so. Here it comes in. Let's go AMD right back down to the downside. That's when you have to have, we talk about having ice in your veins. This is what you have to do. If it comes back up to a level that you like it, you just got to kind of keep on going with the flow here. There goes AMD right back in, and boom goes the dynamite on this AMD trade. And yeah, there it is right there. Instead of missing it, which we did, it floated back up, and we just reshorted that name. So it came back in, we took the shares again, now it's straight back down to the downside. Let's just hope that we're able to, I mean, now it's bouncing around a little bit more. All right, I'll take a 75. Now that I just said I'll take a 75, let's see what happens. Hopefully it can flow back in. We're not posting huge shares here, just trying to get fills back and forth. But hey, I mentioned 72, and it went up 40 cents from there. Let's see if I mentioned 75, what happens. Maybe we don't reload it after all. Google. Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was this low. Okay, Google. Look at this one, man. We talked. Okay, yeah. Oh, shoot. Yeah, did it open your thing up? I can say it.
I have it off
Siri.
on
Yep, mine opened up. Yo, what's going on, Siri? How's it going? Right there. But there it is right now. Sorry about that, Neil. I don't think it woke it up, though, did it? No, I think it's too far away.
It's too far.
It probably just ignores me anyways. But there it is right there. Let's see if we can get a Google trade in. We just bid 32s, but you know what? We don't need to do that. We'll just bid 36s and punch out a little bit. Oh, we got some 35s there, actually, on the punch out. There goes Google, bringing it back in, man. We talked about this. Siri's writing this all down as I'm saying this. So here it comes down.
Well, you did just prompt it.
That's what I was going to say. I was actually saying that someone said, today I don't have it on because it's getting worked on, my Apple Watch, but people said that it can count the amount of words that you say throughout the day. So I'm going to try to find that app and then see about...
Oh, that's cool as hell.
Yeah, think about how many words we say throughout the day because... You know, I mean, I always thought I talked too much, but this will now be definite confirmation.
I had this conversation with my wife, and
yeah.
It's like, so anyways, when obviously you guys watch the show every single day, like there's probably a breakdown on the words. Let's just call it probably 65-35 or something along those lines, or 60-40. But when Max is on or someone else is on, I realize it's like at the end of the day, I always feel a little bit like, I feel like my throat's a little bit more dry, and I'm like, oh, I've talked a little bit more than normal, because I feel as if all of a sudden I'm saying like twice as many words that day. And then I get really quiet when I'm at home, and like I'm a little bit more tired, which is fine. It's just...
Yeah, she's like, what's wrong, Neil? What's wrong? She's like, no, too much talking.
What I've always wanted since we started doing the show, and maybe this is possible, you guys tell me, I'd love to know the most frequent words that I say.
Well, quite frankly, I have no idea what they would be.
I know, but that one's on purpose. Like there was one time Frank came on, and I said it like 20 times in the aftermath of that interview, and now I feel like I try to say it as often as possible because, quite frankly, it's just a really cool thing to say. And Frank's an awesome guest, so I like to do that shout out. I'll move on to something else next month. But I mean, in general, like outside of things I'm saying on purpose just to mess with people, I'd love to know what it is that I say a lot. I don't think, Justin, that it is Intel, to be honest.
No, it's not even close.
No, it's not. It's not even close.
If you're talking about symbols, it still wouldn't be close.
No, even symbols, there's no chance. Like symbols, it's got to be like Tesla, right? I feel as if we probably mentioned Tesla, just in general. I think for you, it's AMD or Microsoft.
I think the word bang probably, though, if I'm going to have a word.
It's not apple fritter. I don't say it enough.
I think that, so the words that someone said it out there as well, I think they're just saying, they said Sean's word would be short. As of late, yes, but I feel like if it was actually a word, it would be both of us, it would be long or short. Because as we're describing our positions, we're like, oh, we're long Google.
That's kind of
We're
boring,
short Apple, but that's kind of cheating the system, I feel like. It's like...
I think so, too.
It's like, what's a commentator's most spoken word in baseball? Ball or strike? Like,
yeah, like you almost have to exclude certain words.
Right.
And I'd love to know what Brendan's is, too, and Sharif. It would just make it fun if we all had... And then it gets in our heads, right? Because then all of a sudden I'd be focused on that. I want to get to Carvana here for a second. There's a name that we haven't talked about. At least I don't think we talked about much today. Hey, we still might get this 48 break that I was pining for this morning. You can see right here, it got to 47.80 or so, and then turn around. It's got off the schneid a little bit. I guess there's like a dip buy consolidation, take a shot at it long at 45.80 or so. I'd rather that 48 break. That's where things get really spicy on that 15-minute chart. But if it can go sideways again here, maybe hold out this same low, give you an entry off 46, and that way you're risking to here and then long in here on the way to 48. That's not bad. Got to keep our eye on this one. Not many other squeeze names that are going right now. You saw what happened to Tupperware. I'm back in, so I've reloaded on Coinbase in front of that 100 level. We just got 99.87s. So let's see if it goes for another run at that high of the day. You know what? Now that I'm looking at this, here's what's happening in Bitcoin. Probably should always I say this every single time. I pull it over here, then I full screen it, and then it takes a while to load. I should just leave it with the small look there. Yeah, a bit of a bounce happening on the 3-minute if you look. Not a huge one in terms of notional, but it is a decent sized bounce. If this gets through, like, what's that, 2291.5 or so, no coin short's probably going to be any good because you're already at the top and making a bigger move in Coinbase. So I want to respect that. I'm always watching Bitcoin, and when I am looking at this, my goodness, NVIDIA looks pretty decent off that 450 level. I didn't get it. Now I'm going to be concerned with Tesla. Just bounced. It broke 268, so I was looking for the bounce play off 68. Didn't happen. Now it actually held underneath there. But I see stair step down. I'm still seeing lower highs. I wanted to put in a higher low. You got to show me some confirmation that we're still strong here on Tesla. That'll be via higher low of some short. Apple, that's another name I saw a lot of people mentioning at the low of the day. It's trying here. Apple, it's still up, which is weird to see a stock that's at the low of the day be beating the market, but it's true. Apple right there at the open, 192.60 is precisely where it just bounced. That's not a horrible R&R. It's really tempting to just risk 10 cents on this low on Apple.
I just got notice from Apple, Genius Bar. They replaced the whole damn watch for me. Okay, for free.
Interesting.
So there you go. So interesting there. I have no idea when I got it. It was still under warranty. The crown on the watch, well, you guys don't know what the crown is. That was stuck and just kept on calling SOS. So I had like 911 call. I was on vacation. I had 911 calling me like, yo, is everything all right and everything like that? And I was like, yeah. And I could feel my watch going crazy. I had to turn it off and back on. And then it just kept on calling it. So shout out to Apple repair team. Apparently they replaced it all in 3 days. So I got it back already. Got to go pick it up tomorrow, I guess, or maybe after work. So that's nice. I put on my Samsung one on the weekend, and yeah, it was actually pretty good as well. I was thinking about giving that to my boy because we all have Apple products, but I'm not buying them. I mean, I have an extra.
Hold on a second. You're talking about Baxter or Barron?
Barron.
Baxter
Baxter has an
probably,
iWatch.
I was going to say Baxter probably has his own, but
yeah, Baxter's killing
So he'd
it.
have an iPhone and you'd give him the
Samsung. Well, it pairs with it.
I know it does. It's just kind of.
Or he gets
You
no
literally
damn watch.
just talked about the ecosystem, and then you're going to buck.
Oh yeah. No. But I'm not
just
gonna.
saying.
I'll probably buy him a new watch, but just sitting in my drawer.
That's a waste.
It's like it's like 200, 300.
So, but then by that logic, I should give my daughter my old Blackberries. So
No.
But that's to me.
No.
If you
The
want to get them
Samsung watch-
something else, get them something else.
It's like having like
I'm just saying.
for example, Fitbit. Like it plays. It's Google owns
Oh, yeah,
Fitbit,
which is
But you
fine.
can also have it attached to your Apple Watch, for example.
It's all good.
It's all good.
So
All right.
I ended up talking myself. I didn't really talk myself into it. I just saw that double bottom off the low on Apple. I'll risk that 15 cents. It's actually not 10 cents. It's 71s to 57. So it's actually 15 pennies here on Apple. I'll take that shot. I do like the short that we have in coin. I'm gonna get out of NEO in front of VWAP. It almost doesn't matter where it wants to go. It's just that it's a Chinese ADR in the afternoon, and you take what you can get with these. Let's go, load. There you go. Got some at 70, 73 there. It's just got one fill, and if it gets down to VWAP, I get out. The short was off the $12 level. I seriously doubt that it does anything crazy here because after 3 o'clock, Chinese ADRs don't move that much. But it's worth watching Alibaba. If one of them is going to go, I always have to enter twice. If one of them is going to go, I would think Alibaba's going to make a bigger move. So if I saw Baba do a big flush and I could cancel a bit on NEO or maybe find an entry, I might go ahead and do that. If I see Baba run to the high, I'll probably just punch out of NEO. Do not want to get trapped at a bottom like that. I don't want to get trapped in a move with Baba racing and then NEO, you're looking at profits and then you just kind of give them away. The market does not seem to want to break out of this range. You've got to have your eyeballs on the right individual names at key prices because the NASDAQ, 40-point range. Pretty much, more or less, since 11 o'clock. Since we left you guys, you got about a 40-point range on the NASDAQ. That does give us the opportunity to play longs off the bottom and shorts off the top. It just means that the breakouts, which a lot of times are exciting, get in and out of them quick, they might not be there for you, those breakout trades. Hopefully Carvana, one of these small cap names, can pop off like in the afternoon. Oh, and oddly enough, I don't want to say the name because they didn't tell me if I was allowed to, but when Siri made that move the other day, there was a Day Trade the World trader who messaged me, and they made the top 10 offices for the first time on that Siri breakout. So they didn't say, I don't know, I don't want to out them. Maybe I'll ask them if it's okay to say where they're located, but Yeah, pretty cool. They took that breakout trade, made the top 10 list. They post that on tip every now and then. We don't really show it much. Maybe we can do that at some point today if I can call it up. I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, it's funny. You already have it. I just thought of it now.
You're right. We don't do it enough.
We really actually don't do it. It's top traders over there, Sean, showing you. They also have top offices as well.
I'll show you. Yeah. So if you're hooked up here, this is the top 10 traders today. So this would have been Friday. So.
Oh, there it is, right there, 37Y.
Oh, good. He messaged you. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. What's up to 37Y? I know 37Y. Yeah, big time congratulations for damn sure. I don't know if you want to post what city you're from. You could do that if you want.
It's up to you.
Because you're always recruiting. I think that's a great idea because you want to be part of a top office, right? If it's up to you, it's up to you if you want to. But right here.
Horrible.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought I felt something knocked over there, and it was me. Okay, so this is just the top traders. And this, again, remember, this is prop floor Friday. I'm not sure if everyone's working. I know we have a lot of offices in Europe that probably aren't, and we have a lot of offices in China as well that may not be going on right. I think China's fine. It's not holiday or anything like that over there. Yeah, so I don't know where number 10 is, right? Oh, I thought my program froze. That's obviously an error. But we try to post at least one random market at the bottom there. So
they always do that.
Turkey, someone traded the Turkish market. This is why it's called Day Trade the World, and Thailand. But then if you're going up here, this is what I'm not trying to make excuses, but it doesn't look like it was a very huge day at all on Friday. Because if the second guy only made 10 grand, still, hey, look, 10 grand a day, great. But normally you get a little
For the
more.
record, he made the list on Thursday.
Oh yeah. I'm not. Well, that would be a NASDAQ, so if it was there. Oh, and then it was offices as well. That's top traders. What was I just looking at? I was looking at top 10 traders today. What does this say? Top 10 traders today. Oh, by market. Oh, okay. Right. So there's the whole market. So it's basically the same thing. And then here's the offices as well. So that you can trade as an individual. So that would be that person traded as an individual. And then here's all the other stuff there as well. So maybe we'll add this and talk about this every day. But
we used to always do it.
Shout out to Day Trade. Though, yeah, we could do it again. I honestly just forgot to mention it. So
here's Coin again.
yeah, Coin's coming back. We did great to get out of Google, man. I mean, you guys saw me when we were talking about that. We still have 15 to 20% left on this play, but it just came right back in, right into the day's low. So we got to take a decent percentage out when that comes through as well. So that's a good trade there for Google. We're making money here today, so all good on that. And then we got this fill on AMD down there at 66. Should have just reloaded this again at 111. We'll look, man. The market's now above VWAP. Normally, I don't want to short. What time is it? 256. Normally, I don't want to short into those levels, but that's the NASDAQ high there. Forget about what we were doing earlier. If we get anywhere back up here to 15.6, I think that's what we want to put some shorts on. So let's just watch out, see where these markets go from now, and just look for better trades. With this rally, is Tesla back to 270? We have Danielle Shea coming up. Maybe I have to ask her a little bit about Tesla because
and the Cybertruck.
See how her pre-orders are going along right there. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to have a little story about my Apple Watch. I don't know if I can pick it up today. Oh man, there's so much stuff going on with my kids right now. But anyways, we'll have to watch out for Apple coming upside now.
Yeah, that's the sort of the thing. It's like that. You get
summertime, you have so much going on.
You get home from work and it's like no time for any appointments. I'm glad, like on Thursdays and Fridays, we don't have anything, which is fortunate because I can get like stuff done, which is key. That's when I get my haircut on Thursday. Tesla, I said I wanted it to make a higher low, which it's doing now. So, I mean, it obviously broke out this local top. Now I'm looking for a consolidation, somewhere to get back long in front of that 68 level. Or the other way to play this would be a 270, like just a 270 straight up breakout. And just get in and out and see how quickly we can make that one work. NVIDIA is starting to get back to the upside. 450 could be in play, but I see JJ talking about AMC. I haven't been in this in a while since I tried the 6 break. That was this break here. It went 6 to 610 and just immediately wicked back under. I should have just jumped back into it and then got the move to 625. But this needs to get back above 6. We talked about it spent less than, 20 seconds or whatever it was above the May high today. Everything else would have been post-market Friday and pre-market today. So in the actual open market, 9:30 to 4, it spent a matter of seconds above the May high. If it gets there and breaks it again, that's what I think it's really juicy for a potential like late day squeeze here. So if we get above 625, I just think that's a breakout you want to have based on that level on the daily chart. If it gets there, I just think it makes a lot of sense, Paul Stevens, Danielle Permabull. I don't know, everyone's kind of. What's interesting about that is it's a weird term because long term, everybody's bullish. So like I've never, people say I'm a permanent bull. I'm like, well, I mean the market pretty much over the long run always goes up. So it's a weird term to say. Like I always want people to define it. I feel like different people have different definitions of it. If you always believe that the market in the long run is going up, is that a permanent bull? Or do you have to believe that like every single quarter is positive? Like what does it even mean? Like I think in the long run it's going up, but I don't consider myself a permanent bull.
When I was like shaking my head about her being a perma bull, what I was sort of getting at is that you just hit it right there. Is we're all trying to hold something in our long term, and I'm not. She's going to come on and you can talk about it, but I really think that it does make sense that you have to have some stories that you believe in. And obviously trading options, as she does, there's going to be flavor for that, and then there's also flavor to hold.
Yes, for
you
sure.
know what I'm saying? So as you continue to hold, what were we looking back for there? As you continue to hold on.
Cat hasn't eaten her hamburger, man. It's just.
Cat hasn't had, oh yeah, how was I was wondering, we had hamburgers for lunch. Yeah, I mean,
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
Oh,
what was the American cheeseburger? Did
American
you get to that story? Did you find
style?
out?
No, I didn't because I didn't have,
Katrine,
we have a
open
salad.
up your cheeseburger. What's in that cheeseburger? Yeah, that as I said, let me guess, onions, tomato. See, boom.
But that looks like oh, that's cheese. Okay.
That's what I said. As soon as I heard that it was American, I thought, instantly just thought of like a Big Mac, right? Like pickles, lettuce.
Yes.
I actually just realized as my kids were, you know what? First of all, if anybody works for Burger King,
Burger King.
I'm going to tell this story because I don't necessarily want to like beat them up or anything like that. But you know that commercial goes, Whopper, Whopper, Junior, Whopper, double, bacon. I don't know. There's all these crazy, have you ever seen the ad for Burger King? Well, my kids are singing it like, congratulations, anybody that's like working for the marketing department.
I feel your pain.
But they're just like, butter, chicken, poutine, this and that.
I
like
feel your pain, dude.
There's all these crazy lyrics, and my kids are just singing it nonstop, and now they want Burger King all the time. And I didn't even realize that we had to stop in that Burger King. We were on our way home from the dirt bikes there, and we're just like, okay, we're starved. Like it was like 11 to 1, and then we grabbed some food on the way home because we had to get back for baseball, I believe, that night, which I think was accurate. Anyways, I didn't realize that they had like a Big King. Like that,
you never heard of the Big King? Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I didn't realize it was basically just a big. I don't go to Burger King as much. I like Burger King.
I can't eat
I only
Burger
get the
King
Whoppers.
anymore. I ate so many Whoppers when I was in Florida.
Yeah.
That once, my first summer in Florida between first and second year university, I ate so many Whoppers that I now cannot touch them. It's just I turned myself off the Whopper because I mean, it's not, you know what, I won't even get it. It's disgusting. It was actually the Whopper Junior, and I would eat like 4 at a time back when my metabolism was ridiculous.
I wonder if it's better to eat, like, because they're like half the price of the Whopper. So is it better to eat like 4 Junior Whoppers or just 2 real Whoppers?
I mean, I don't think you should do either. But
No, I'm not. But I do want to. We are going to get ready to go to Danielle Shea, but she was tweeting at me asking me where I had gone. So once we're done from this, I want to bring Danielle on. I want to talk to her because I got to set the record straight that I never leave this place. We're always here in spirit. Even when you're on vacation right now, we're going to be here. And then plus I want to ask her that if I can be. I mean, probably her husband's going to get the first ride in the Cybertruck, but if she drives it up here, you know what I'm saying? We'll take some pictures in the Cybertruck. Maybe I'll come visit her down there. And plus, I want to see if she's actually going to go ahead and grab the Cybertruck.
I wanted to do the window test that Elon
Yeah.
botched.
I'm going to grab the sledgehammer.
I would love to have a sledgehammer because if it works, I'm just saying it would be a lot of fun to take a sledgehammer to a window as hard as you can and see what happens.
Yeah, I just got to make sure her insurance is all paid up and everything like that because, I don't want to. She could just tell them that some crazy guy in Toronto was using a sledgehammer.
Bottle of wine for the opportunity to do that. I think that's a fair trade. It's supposed
to. It has to be a good bottle of wine. I think it's too much risk. I wouldn't.
Okay. No, you're right. It is too much risk.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd
be fun though.
Well, hey, without any further ado, I think that was a good tee up. Like she goes on CNBC. Man, those guys on there, they're not talking about Whopper
suck.
Juniors. They're not talking about sledgehammering their next guests' windows, like we are. This is why we're keeping it real.
Keep it real.
And we're doing the best we can or something similar to that. So, all right, let's go over to the big desk. Someone who's going to keep it professional, I'm pretty sure about that. Let's go over to Brendo with Miss Danielle.
I'm actually Googling right now the window replacement costs for a Tesla. And it's a lot more than a bottle of wine, I think, but pretty close. $2,500 is what Google says for a new windshield, but I feel like that's even low, maybe for the Cybertruck. Better question, maybe. Hi, Danielle. How are you?
You guys are just making me laugh. I'm glad to be here.
It's Monday. Do we know, are you going to get a Cybertruck? You have a deposit, right?
So I do have a deposit, but we really needed a truck. So we got a Ford F-150
Shocking.
Lariat in the meantime. And now I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe we should put it to a vote. Should I trade in the Ford F-150 for the Cybertruck? I'm not sure what to do now.
Was it the, it's not the Lightning though, right?
No, not the Lightning,
Okay.
just the regular
Just a
gas-powered.
regular old F-150. No, I mean, still a beautiful truck, obviously. But I mean, maybe the better question here, if we get back to the market, is do we see, he promised we see some deliveries by the end of the year. How much is that actually going to be? And maybe whereabouts do you feel like you are on that waiting list?
Well, my husband signed up for it probably, he wasn't one of the first, but in the very beginning, before it was very well known. So I would imagine we're, somewhere near the front of the line, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, Elon kind of pointed to, I think, a handful. Like, let's be honest, it's not going to be a lot. Maybe we get, 10 or 20 delivered by the end of the year, but production has begun, obviously. We're seeing a bounce today on this India headline as well. To tie this back in a little bit, $24,000 Tesla going to be made apparently in India and then sold in that market, which opens the door for so much more possibility, obviously, for the company. So 3.5% kind of a day here after 2 days of a pullback, I guess if you want to call it that. Still very strong, though. What are your thoughts here overall at this point for Tesla?
Yeah, definitely. So I can go ahead and throw on a Tesla chart here too as well. And, I hadn't heard that news. And now that I'm hearing it, that is just absolutely phenomenal. I had looked into, Microsoft, Google, making some stronger ties with India. And I mean, overall, that's very bullish for these companies. And I think that it's a great place for them to expand. So when you're looking at Tesla doing that as well, especially the 24K model, I mean, that just has some massive potential, and it's really helping Tesla bounce at this 34 EMA. So, normally when I'm looking at a stock that has fallen on earnings, I'm looking at the daily chart and I want to see the 21 EMA, which was right about here. We fell through that zone. So my next level is right around here at 250 at the 34. So I mean, I think that's perfect. It's a nice zone for a bounce. It's very typical in a bullish uptrend. You can see on the lower time frame charts, you have a very nice trend and you have volume as well. So, hey, I'm all for the Tesla bounce. You know how I love it.
First of two major weeks coming up starting tomorrow, I guess, for earnings as we get into the big ones, the ones we wait for 4 times a year here. Let's kick things off with give me Google, I guess, to start things off here, but there's a lot to get to.
Yeah, of course. So when we look at Google, Google has been the one that's been weaker out of the major tech stocks. Okay, so here's a Google chart. I'm looking at the last 12 quarters. These bubbles demonstrate what the gap was overnight post earnings. Now you can see, up until about January of 22, this thing was gapping higher post earnings, really good moves going into earnings. And then what happened was that ad revenue really started to slow down and it's been incredibly volatile. Now, I've been buying shares of stock throughout this time because I feel like, YouTube is huge. I feel like this thing is going to come back. So I've been making it more of a long-term play, but around earnings, I'll caution you, it's pretty sketchy. Last quarter, we did get, a 1% gap and a post-earnings move on some good AI news, but they've been a little behind on the AI front. So I'm cautious going into Google. I mean, you can see they've had some pretty big moves lower in recent quarters, but ultimately, I'm looking for it to continue on and make new highs.
It's interesting you bring that up. Is she still there?
We lost my video.
All right. It's interesting that you bring that up, the AI aspect of this. So much attention has been paid to that when it comes to any kind of headline these days. Is that really going to be the sticking point when it comes to these earnings reports across the board? It's not necessarily what are they doing in AI, but how much and when and timelines and things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, AI has just been a massive story this year. And so when you're looking at that, I mean, it's really helped to it's really just helped to move the overall stock market in an upwards direction because there's just so many applications. So I do think that AI is going to be pretty critical part of this report. And I also think that their ad revenue is going to be very important. When you're looking at what the ad revenue looks like, that's been a major factor that has caused this stock price to go lower. So those are going to be the two areas in focus for me.
All right, let's go to the one that we talk about a lot, but the biggest of the big, or one of the biggest of the big, Microsoft. Hey, she's back. There she is. Microsoft, give me your thoughts here after the close tomorrow.
So I think that Microsoft is the most important one this week. And I also think that Microsoft is the one that's most likely to keep going. So when you look at Microsoft over the last 12 quarters, I mean, yes, we did have 2 quarters during the bear market that we had some downward moves. But when you look at the trend recently, we've had an incredibly strong trend. Last quarter, we had a breakaway gap, 7.7%. I will note that this stock, it can pull back on earnings even when it has an EPS beat if the beat just isn't strong enough. But what I will tell you is when the stock pulls back, it's almost always a buy because historically, quarter over quarter, during the 8 days post earnings, you're going to see buyers coming in and pushing that stock price higher, even if we have a little bit of a disappointment. So I'm looking for support right around, 340, and then we have another support zone around 330 as well.
I mean, I'm just looking at the list right now. There's so much. Hey, we lost her again.
Sorry, guys.
That's
I don't
okay.
know. I'll have to work on this technology here.
That's okay, no problem. There's so much to choose from this week. Did you see Barbie by chance this weekend? Mattel's coming up tomorrow.
I did not see Barbie. I can't say that I'm a huge fan, but I also don't have any daughters that have been trying to drag me to it. So
155 million for the opening weekend. Pretty impressive. Meta, obviously, going back to the AI front, they've been making some headlines of late over the past couple of weeks on the AI front. What do we think here for Meta?
So when you're looking at Meta, I would tell you that you should probably exhibit some caution here because you can see that the last 2 quarters it had major moves, right? You had a 14% gap up last quarter, 19% gap up the quarter before that. So what happens when you have these 2 major gaps is, it's a 3rd quarter in a row, right? So if we don't see a big beat, it's going to be a big disappointment. So, you have threads that had come out this quarter. Initially, we had a lot of signups, and then after that, it just kind of fizzled. I personally never got on it. I guess you guys could tell me a little more about that because I think you did sign up. But I don't know. I'm cautious around this just because it's been so strong.
It tanked after the initial signups. Threads did down. I was reading at the end of last week down 70% active daily users right from the first couple of days. I want to get your thoughts here on 2 things. Intel, one, and then going back to your brand new F-150, Ford is coming up this week as well.
Sure. So looking at an Intel chart, here's the thing with this is I know they're a good company and people always argue with me when I say that I don't think Intel is a great buy. I was talking to my brother about this and he was saying, oh no, it's a great buy right now. I can't believe you don't like it. And, I will say that it has shifted off of the lows, right? You've been climbing off of the lows. Last quarter, you did have a nice gap higher. Yes, we have consolidation and we have a short-term bullish pattern. So, I mean, there's a few reasons why you could look at it up into, let's say 35, maybe 36. But the reason why I generally don't like trading this one is because it's just a relative strength loser. When you look at the way that it careened down to the lows, you have quarter over quarter over quarter where it just continually gaps lower. For me, that makes it much harder to try to be bullish on something like that. If you look at some others like Lam Research, it has recovered so much better than Intel has from the bear market. You're in a bullish uptrend. You've got some consolidation here. You're, just on a much stronger path to recovery. So I tend to try to kind of avoid Intel.
Great stuff. And then Ford quickly, Danielle. How do you like the truck, first of all? And then what do you think here for the overall stock? Coming up Thursday, guys, after the close, we get Ford earnings.
I really like the truck. I've never had a truck before, but I live in Texas. We were moving. It's just something that was more of a necessity. And honestly, I think the Ford technology is pretty decent. Tesla is much better. I do also have a Tesla Model X. And so, comparatively, technology is much better in the Tesla. But for a truck, it's really nice. It's effective. And hey, like I said, I live in Texas. You got to have a truck. So I do like that. Not sure about the trade-in just because then I would have 2 electric vehicles. But, looking at the stock price here, I think that Ford has done a pretty good job recovering over the last quarter. You can see that we've seen a low come in. We have a little bit of a head and shoulders. We have a breakout to the upside. For them, I just don't think that the electric F-150 is too much of a draw as much as what they think it is anyways. So I don't know. This one's back and forth.
Yeah, some of the initial reports, obviously, of real life usage with the Lightning version versus the fuel version, not the same whatsoever. And even the range that they were projecting, not even close to the same. So we're going to send Danielle Shea a brand new webcam, and we'll reconnect next week. Is it fixed or no? It should not. Okay. Thank you so much, Danielle Shea, VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. Best of luck this week. We'll speak again next week.
Thanks, guys. I will see you soon, and hopefully see you next time.
See you.
I had all this stuff planned.
I know Sean he had all these questions he wanted for Danielle, but it's good. We're gonna get her that webcam, and then in a webcam and a bottle of wine, and then we can do that with the Cybertruck. Although I think a lot of people in the chat were sort of saying, well, once you have the F-150, you're probably not going to make that switch. It felt like it was more people saying that than the other side of it, believe it or not. We were just talking.
I know I can still ask you the question, Danielle. She's in the chat right now, but
it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I gotta have the one-on-one interaction. I'm gonna save it for next week.
Okay.
I'm gonna save it.
But now everybody wants to know what the question was going to be.
I'm in Italy next week. I'm gonna save it for a couple more weeks.
Oh, that's right. That's next week.
Couple more weeks. Thank you, Danielle. Anyway, she's in the chat. If you guys want to ask her any quick questions, I still think Brendan's mic might potentially still be live. So, okay, that's good.
I heard
him gulping down some water right there. So shout out to Brendo. Great.
Thirst quenching.
Yeah, very thirst quenching there. So thank you so much for that. And thanks to Danielle Shea. But yeah, it's interesting there talking a little bit, and she didn't know the news about that, maybe that cheaper version of the Tesla coming through. I still think that it would be awesome if there was a hatchback of some sort, like they were saying a Model 2 or something like that.
That'd be cool.
X-1, something like that.
But they'll get there.
Yeah, and then
first dominate, beat everybody on margins.
Every Tesla car you buy gets you free verification on X. Their new Twitter.
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you.
Unfortunately,
yes,
too late to have him as the spokesperson. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Elon Musk would get DMX as a
I think they'd
sponsor.
be cool.
That may be pretty cool.
I think
I was actually going to talk to her about McDonald's.
I think they'd be cool
as well, because look at McDonald's right now at 52-week
highs.
I
like.
And at all-time highs.
That's
right now, trying to break out. This is what I was going to ask her about actually, because I'll just spoil it. I was going to ask her McDonald's or Burger King and all that crap, just because I'm an idiot. 301.50 right there. And the thing is that look at McDonald's right here at 52-week highs, and then look at QSR, right? This is Restaurant Brands International. These guys own Tim Hortons. They own Popeye's Chicken, I believe. They own Burger King. So you're going to see this name as well up to highs right there. So there's basically pick your poison. QSR, I made a lot. This is one of the stocks I made a lot of money on because I was in this and I was in Tim Hortons and everything before they got bought out. So that was a disgusting trade. I was able to make quite a decent amount there on the long-term account. I didn't have to do anything about it because when you're involved in a buyout,
you just get it.
Take the shares out of your system and give you the fill. So that was a good one.
But if you don't like the company, you have to make a decision. Or if you're not.
Yeah. What do you mean if you don't like that? Oh, like
No,
if
like
you want to
you-
hold QSR shares or not.
Yeah, well, in that situation, you probably fine holding QSR shares. But
They just paid cash.
Yeah, you might get into. Oh, I mean, if it's a stock deal.
Right,
The
right.
example I
Got
used
it.
was at the time when I owned Score, I made a nice gain on
Into
Score,
Penn,
just
right?
like with one of those, and it went into Penn. And at the time, I was like, do I really want to own Penn at this time when the deal went down? Because that was kind of when things were turning around. I decided that I was like, whatever. I'll let some of it ride instead of, my gut was like, no, so I sold like 80% of it and then just held on to the 20% just for the fun of it.
Right.
That was an L. Probably comes back at some point, but I'll take McDonald's out of the.
I don't have
That's
any
a good
bad
setup.
stocks in my account at all. Man,
Everybody
these
has
goddamn cannabis stocks.
Everybody has bad stock because anybody that thinks they're immune to turning, holding a bag, everybody bag holds at some point. That's just the reality. It's just a matter of what you bag hold.
Or how many of them?
I had stock in when it was in the pennies in Nortel at one point.
Yeah, well, Nortel, I guess
Well, it was-
a lot of people lost a hell of a lot.
A lot of
money.
people lost a lot of money.
I mean, cannabis names, I was looking at my account the other day, like minus 98%. That's pretty cool. So we'll have to wait for that to come through.
didn't own Sundial, probably,
again,
so.
yeah. I don't own Sundial, but, all
that
those
I
names,
do.
everything's diluted so much. So, okay, back to trading.
Yeah,
It's
let's go back to
3:20
trading
now. We are now
Holy
in your
crap.
power hour, ladies and gentlemen, and we're happy to say this. Spin the damn money right now. Look at this AMD trade. And hey, if you're rocking with this, then you're rocking with this because this is the only trade we put on Google. Not only did we like this, but we reloaded it. We've got that in there. So there it is right now. AMD to the downside. Kablammy, bluey, all that. Down to 110.40 again. You're right at VWAP here. So my friend Brian Shannon would probably give me hell if I don't get out at VWAP. But no, Brian. We're going to go lower on this, get into here, 110 and change, and see where we can go from here. I ain't no CMT. I ain't no English professor either.
Clearly.
Ain't. All of that. Well, apparently that's another thing I asked Danielle. Like, this is not an accent. I mean, if I ask the chat, they're going to say that we speak with an accent, which maybe we do, I guess. But anyways,
About half the time.
Yeah, it's a boot half the time. Yeah, that's a boot, right? Or what's going on today's roof above us right now? I say roof.
I say roof, don't I?
I mean, what's wrong with roof? I don't know.
Roof.
Anyways, let's just go back over to here as I digress. Okay, I'm sorry, Fabian. Right there, 110 bottom. Let's see if we can get that fill right now on AMD. That's been a sort of a sore spot for me and a point of contention on this stock. We were short into it. This is where I took the L right there. Everything else has been fine. It was this short on the way up that you guys saw me take live. Lots of volume early. We're making all of our money late, so I really, really need to adjust my train of thought here as we continue to trade. But it's a good trade there on AMD, and then just back at it again with Google. This is another trade that we put on, but we put this on just before we went on to air. You still could have got the same price at 2 o'clock. You actually could have got it again right around here, but there goes Google. Nicely done all the way down there into, again, the bottom of the day. So Google actually came right back in. So I am pretty happy to take a fill there. That's what we're looking for AMD. Back into some of the early support. That's the trade right there now for me on that. We talked about getting stopped out. Unfortunately, that's AMD. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Trying to click on the A's here of AMC. Looks like we got the right level, but we got stopped out on that level once it broke. I mean, so it just breaks and then right back down. If I could have just given it a little bit more room, but I give it 85s. So we get stopped out there at 84. But again, if you're learning from us, this is what you want to learn. Look at this support right there. I got out because I just figured this name up 35% could crack lower. Right, profit taking coming in, especially at the end of the day, but right into there, the same level that held is the same level that was resistance before, now turning into support here at 80 on AMC. So, hey man, if you thought that there was a potential here for something, you may be right here on AMC. Trying to get it back around 580 would be a decent level for concern, and then you can get out even on those bottom wicks of 70. But let's just see what happens here into the closing spot here today. AMD's a good one, Google's a good one, and we will look for some more. Yo, the judge says no accent detected.
We don't have accents.
Eh?
My chat's not working. I tried
yo.
to answer a question in the chat here, but it's like it does.
That happened to me before. Remember, you typed too many words. Maybe.
No, it wasn't. It's happened twice. I just get an error, like a disconnect error. But I closed the chat and opened it up, so I'm going to try and answer this because Daryl, as we were just talking about the cannabis and bag holding, Darren Brandt. How can I better protect myself in future investing in stocks like weed stocks? Literally lost all my money on the dying industry. The only way that I go about it, and This comes from like when I started out as a trader, I was trading penny stocks. I've said this time and time again. So the first few things that wasn't just buying and holding like the market or mutual funds along on those lines. It was kind of buying penny stocks and making plays in them. But understanding that those are higher risk, either you're investing an amount that doesn't matter if it goes to zero because it's that kind of a risky play. I would always say have an idea what does wrong mean in the trade. I'm only going to use an example from a friend whose name I won't say, who he's a very, very smart person, made a great call. There was a potential catalyst for a healthcare company that had to do with certain legislation, and so that catalyst was probably going to be really great if they got some contracts. So the stock doubled when a certain party in the U.S. won because presumably they get a bunch of contracts. Went to 25 to 50. Took nothing off the top there, and then those contracts never ended up coming. So didn't have an out on the way back out was when what you expect to happen doesn't happen, is that where you're wrong? When that happens plus something technical, is that where you're wrong? Are you taking profit when it goes 100% of the money or 75% of the money and play with house money? You have to have these things in mind before you make a spec play. It's like making a trade. Like Apple here. I went long here in Apple because I was going to go long and get out if it broke this local bottom. Okay, this one right here. That's 192.60. Just little consolidation, play the bounce. Before I get into the trade, I have predetermined that I'm getting it out if it breaks there. Now, that's a little bit arbitrary. It's obviously kind of a loose technical thing. But when you spec play, you try to follow those rules. Now, we've all been there. I've done the same thing. Like you say, it'll go up. You'll hold on to 20% past all of your rules because you figure it's gone, hey, it was so great before, I can just hold it forever. It won't go down any further. And then it goes down further. Look no further than something like a Mullen for that. So from quick in and out, lost to 15 pennies on Apple. With that reload that we got on Coin, we got the 99.50 again as well. So it looks like it is kind of slowly stair-stepping to the downside. Got a bid in front of 99. Hopefully we can get that. You've got to find, you're going to play inside some of these ranges because we're still in that same 40 handle range on the NASDAQ. So you get your shorts at the top. I mean, Coin at that 100 level pretty much the only one that just came and double tapped that was available for me. I have not traded, unfortunately. I would have loved to get a shot at NVIDIA up at 450 again. That doesn't look like it's going to come to fruition. Tesla, there's no obviously we're not going to get a 270 break. I don't have to tell you guys that because Tesla's now tanking. Doesn't hold on to 268, so it's flush zone. I still have my NEO, but I am getting out of VWAP on NEO. So Brian Shannon wouldn't be upset with me, but it's a Chinese ADR. It's just not going to move any further than that. Very, very unlikely that it would. And one last one I wanted to get to. Vinco Ventures apparently isn't dead.
She's alive.
Every now and then. Oh, never. Oh, come on.
Oh, did you hear a story about?
It just turned around. I was just looking at it. It was strong, and I wanted to make a comment about a small cap running, and then the stock falls. Whatever. Nothing burger now.
No, this is. I cracked myself up just thinking about the stupidness I'm going to talk about. No word of a lie. You guys can Google this if you want. They're concerned that there's been some dumping, I can't believe I'm about to talk about this, of cocaine just off the coast of Miami, I swear to God, and they're now worried about cocaine sharks. I am not making that up.
Okay,
I want you to look it up. Cocaine sharks.
Well, now I have to Google it.
I'm telling you, Google it, Neo. I'm surprised Brendan didn't break this story.
You know what?
earlier.
I'm gonna try and watch that movie. I won't have enough time.
Cocaine Bear, first of all. Cocaine Bear, Oppenheimer.
I see it. Insider Today, USA Today, The Guardian. I don't know. Like there's a bunch of stories. Cocaine dumped in the sea off Florida could have crazy consequences.
There it is, man.
Sharks got to live too, man. I don't understand why people have to hate. Sharks got to live
I'm
too.
just saying, like, not only, not just a pretty face, not just a trader, but, trying to break, realistic, reasonable.
So you've seen it, obviously.
Cocaine Bear, yeah?
Cocaine Bear or Sharknado?
Oh, I don't know. I like Cocaine Bear just because I've seen it more recently. I'd have to they're both probably really bad. I just have to watch. Look, Cocaine Bear, I went with the wife. We sat in VIP. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was a really fun movie, but I don't know.
What were you guys laughing at there? Hold on a second. What was so funny, Fabian?
They just know that. They don't know what's good about Cocaine Bear,
Why
VIP.
Why can't it be romantic?
Chilling in the
Damien.
VIP. Yeah, very
Chilling
romantic.
in the VIP at a
Very
movie that
romantic.
they both enjoy together.
You know, when I'm at clubs, we go to the VIP. When I'm
Come
at
on,
the
son.
AMCs there as
You're always
well,
talking trash.
we go to the VIP.
When you've been married a while, you got to make sure you still have date night. Don't hate. You have to.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. You know it's true. It's all about
Well, of
date.
course, I mean, yeah.
Especially when you have kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not bringing my kids to cocaine there. I mean, I guess we could have.
Oh, I mean Bobbsey Baxter.
It's the bad. Oh, I'd take them for the content, but it's violent. Like there's bears. Yeah, I'll say it for you.
I haven't seen the trailer.
I don't want to
I
ruin
have
it.
seen nothing.
It'll probably be up for a couple Oscars. You'll see it. There'll be lots of stuff talked about it, and then we'll just go from there. Awesome. Okay, what's VIP at a movie? Yeah, here we have Cineplex or famous play. I think it's Cineplex now. There's no more famous players.
You get drinks to your.
Yeah. They
to your
serve
seat,
you,
yeah.
and you get your own seats. You pay a little bit extra. Nice seats, this and that. Liquor
They
license.
got that in the States, don't they? You guys have that.
I just saw someone ask about it.
I'm
Anyways,
sure you guys have. Just a couple of things.
Meanwhile,
The shorts are now paying.
Yup,
Remember that 40
yeah.
handle range? It's gone now. So we got that 90. We got out in front of some 99s here on Coinbase. The NASDAQ is taking. The NASDAQ's now red on the day. I have a thing for that. Where is my? There it is.
yeah.
Don't use that one enough. When the
Get
market goes
down.
red to green or green to red, we should be all over that one. I did mention I would get NEO out.
There's
I'm just
110.
but I'm not on the bid at VWAP. I'm going to get on the bid at VWAP once we see that 160. Market be falling.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan. Nice move to the downside
legit.
right now as well. As here comes AMD. I mean, look, tried to
not
tell
make
you that we were coming into 110 there, but at the same time, you know, we've been wrong on trades, but not today on these ones. First of all, AMD downside, Google downside. I actually forgot that Mr. Softy was tomorrow. We just talked about that. But
aftermarket.
Yeah, but aftermarket. So this was, again, that's just a shame that I put in 246 there instead of 346 to get stopped out, because that was about 80 cents worth of risk right there up to here, 346. We're actually giving it a little bit more than that, which was turned out to now be $1.50, and that would look pretty good having this on board right now, but we don't, so it's all good. As we get ready to rock and roll here to the downside, we are starting to bump up just a little bit. Is Carvana doing something?
No, we got with the imbalance. Early look on the imbalances just came out.
Yeah.
So we're net short here. I'm telling you, this is going to be the difference.
Are we worried?
maker.
Are we worried or what?
3 million to sell.
3 million
So
to sell.
3 million to sell is pretty much nothing. It's essentially nothing. Forget about Carvana. I was looking that one up to see what it was doing. I'm not in it. I wanted to see if it could bounce off here for maybe a long, but that's now giving it up like everything else is in the market. But 3 million is absolutely nothing, especially given what we saw on Friday.
Yeah.
It can always change. That's certainly a possibility. Apple, I don't think we see the 191 at this time of day. I'm not going to be involved in it. But it did just bounce and try to get back to what was that support level, 192.60. That could be an interesting place. I mean, the market just went from green to red, now back to green on the NASDAQ. If we do head back southbound one more time, that's an interesting entry point back underneath these lows and then give it to the recent high on Apple. Tesla, we're talking about. Oh, never mind. Tesla was breaking down 2 seconds ago. I flipped to my Apple chart, and Tesla's already bouncing. Tesla is the strong name today. There's pretty much no question about it. I'm glad. Yeah, this is definitely one I don't want to be shorting here, Tesla. I had just seen it make like 8 candles in a row to the red side and was about to talk about it. By the time I flip back to it, Tesla already making a bounce for 330. I'm going to ride with what we have. I think there could be an opportunity for it gets 3 million sell. Were it to come out a decent size sell and we're still hanging on to flat on the NASDAQ, that might be an entry point for a late run to the downside in the markets. That's what I'd be looking for, at least right now.
All right. Let's just keep on going here, man. I mean, the market is live, and so are we. Let's go back over to Tesla right here just real quick. What? I thought I had an offer here because I have a stop order. I guess I didn't. I don't have the offer, but so that came to 269.50 there. That's definitely worth the shot. I'm sort of embarrassed I don't have that now looking back. I thought I'd look back here and saw Tesla didn't even come close to this level, but we must have canceled it, so it's okay because I don't have any pending. I don't. So we don't have any pending orders, but I think that's still worth the short if it comes back upside here on Tesla. But the trade might have just ended. We talked about if it came back anywhere near 270 that we would probably want to look at that. for an area there, but it is coming back down just a little bit into 267.50. They're bouncing. So we said we look for maybe some support levels. That could have been exactly that there on TSLA at 267.50. Let's see if it breaks the bottom and then continues to make a move down. We're already in AMD. What else do you guys want to look at? We just talked about Vinco Ventures. We can start to look. Someone wants you to look at wheat. I don't know what that is. Trade your Instagram. I don't know what that means. You can find me at TraderTVSean on Insta for sure if you wanted that one. What else is going on? Snowflake. Let's check out. You know what we haven't checked out? Where's my damn hat? What's up with Palantir today?
16 level.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot all about the 16 level. Remember the volume wick bottom on, was it Friday? It was Friday, right?
Right.
It was insane. It was ridiculous. You don't see things like this very often in the market where stock's dropping like that, makes a huge volume bottom right at 16 even, and then just instantly it's back at the quarter mark. Like, to get a 25-cent move on a $16 stock that fast and then have it follow through, you didn't get the same trade today, but it's still inside the range. So that 16 level, I'm going to queue that one up tomorrow. I went the wrong direction. I want the daily chart there. Oh, that's spicy. Even if it broke down 16, there might be $1 to the downside on Palantir. Yeah, I'm gonna write that one down for tomorrow. 16, put a little exclamation mark next to it, because that's something you don't want to miss. These big volume tops and bottoms are worthwhile every single time. So I actually put this in the chat because I just want to see what people will say here, because everyone's on my side about it. Although you didn't really take a side. When there was a conversation about the Barbie movie, you're like, who is it? Is it Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling in it? And I was like, it's Gosling, but if Reynolds was in it, it'd be a bigger deal, to which we had a semi-short argument about who's more famous between Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling. I think Deadpool, no questions asked, and you guys agree with me. So 78% Ryan Reynolds, 22% Ryan Gosling, despite the fact that one guy has more awards than the other, but who cares about that crap?
Yeah, no, it's who is more famous.
I think.
Yeah.
It's got to be Deadpool.
But either way, they're all Canadian. Remember, you had La La Land. We just went over this. I had no idea of the movies. We looked them up. I think La La Land was a big one. He got Oscar win and nominations for Ryan Gosling, but I have no idea. I don't really care. I'm going to close it.
I went to school with the dude that was in some show they were on back in the day. I think it was like Breaker High or something, some Canadian show on YTV.
The most famous guy we know are the Ashmores.
Yeah, and there's another guy, Tyler Labine, was from Brampton as well.
We went to the school with a guy that he did Iceman and X-Men. The Ashmores, they're twins, and he's actually in something really good on Netflix recently. Sean, I think it was. Sean Ashmore, yeah. Anyways.
Now I got to think about it. They're in a couple of good shows too as well.
Yeah, no, he's in a big Netflix
good
show.
People.
Big Netflix
They're
show.
not the twins that I cheated off in French class, because I told that story, but it's not them.
Yeah.
It's another set of twins.
Integrity, Neil.
No, it's more than I just realized that I said that, and then now we've just said there's famous twins from the high school we went to. I'm like, no, it's not the same ones. The other ones have done pretty well for themselves as well, but I wouldn't out them. Wow, did a bit of a bounce in the market. Why can't you just go red and stay red is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because that would get us a breakdown at least another 30, 40 points. I feel like that would get us down at least into VWAP here, but a wick bottom on coin, you got to take something out, because 337, we got 20 minutes until the close. We also have 10 minutes change until we get the imbalances. We're going to give them to you live. I don't know how big it's going to be. We have to cover these positions by the end of the day. I'd like to see this hold here, and I can get that VWAP bounce. Where's Tesla? Is it still looking? Tesla is still looking strong. Wow, what an unbelievable stock. Way too late in the day for a breakout trade, but it is so tempting. If this market holds green, like, how do you not have a 270?
It's way too late.
It's way too late. It's annoying, because now the 270 break's going to happen like overnight, and if it's going to be a 270 long, it'll be gapping above there tomorrow instead of a clean breakout. Like it would have been this afternoon, it would have been a clean break at the 270. I'm not going to, if anything, this time of day, I'm usually looking for the reversal play. So if at 350, there's a quick little cheeky reverse off 270 in Tesla, I'd probably do that instead of think about a long.
I mean, I can kindly ask Kat if she's able to ring the bell today.
Not the way I look at this.
Miss Katrine, listening to the weekend. I will, huh? Oh, we may have a guest to ring the bell.
We have a guest?
I guess. Okay, that's exciting. And if you guys ever want marketing at tradertv.live, send that in, and then we can come in You can ring the bell into any close, meet us, this and that. We actually signed, you want to go, can you reach that? We actually signed a mug for Nimit, who was here. And we wrote down all this nice stuff. He brought us these nice little keychains
we all
here
personally
from
signed
Singapore. We signed this. We all wrote that thing. I mean, mine's very good. Thanks for visiting is mine right there. And yeah.
And he forgot it here. So.
Oh, but
Now
I
a
did
collector's
message
item.
him, and he's going to get back to me with an address because his brother-in-law is here in Canada.
Right, so we'll be able to get it to him.
we'll be able to get it to him. We don't have to worry about shipping or
I feel like,
duty and all that.
having it be on the corner there
Shipping
is
something
kinda,
to Singapore, I don't know. Yeah, let's.
we're going to move that somewhere safer than on the corner of that desk behind.
because that's going to fall down. Because I'm going to hit that one day.
Yeah, you know what?
For sure.
I'm not leaving it there. I'm just going to leave it right
Yeah,
here.
just leave it right here so it reminds us to put that somewhere.
I'm one of those people. I said this on
Look at that.
Frad's
Look
show.
what Kat
Never have cups at the edge of a table.
Kat wrote "Hola," thanks for your support. Like this is what we're all about. So thanks, Kat, for that. That's pretty fun.
But now that mug is worth like $100 grand, so
yeah,
we shouldn't give it away.
Up on eBay, we should put that up on eBay.
We should sell it.
All right, let's go, man. Only 10 minutes now until those imbalances. Google's continuing to fall. I did just, let's just call it what it is. It looks like AMD is trying to bounce off this 110 area a couple times. We wicked all the way down there. You can't see the volume, but it's not much. So there it is. Thank you so much for that. A little bit of light volume there. I mean, it was pretty much average sort of candle heights there into the close. So I do have a bid just to tell you at 22s right now for this trade. So if it does come out, that's what I'm looking for in a fill down there in and around this 110.20 area or so to get filled on that one. And then the other one that, of course, we took with you, we took both these with you guys, Google right now right back in to the low of the day and looking to break, and we still got a piece on that. So it's 340. We said we'd be very specific. We only put on 3 names on here today: AMC, Tesla, and Apple. And of course, even though you put that on there, I look over, my number 1 trade today is Softy, followed by Google, followed by Apple. So Microsoft is a fun one because we saw it on Friday, and you guys know the kind of damage that we did. We had a $6 winner there on Friday to end the day, and we tried to put it on again there, and then I keystroked that pretty badly and got out as soon as we got in. I should have just punched right back in again, and I don't know why I didn't. So that's completely my bad, but here goes Microsoft looking to break through 244. I think it does get to that level, and I still think we can go lower on Microsoft and looking for somewhere in here. I just don't think that, and again, trying to be a little more patient with the trades. No point in jumping right back into anything right now with only 20 minutes left. I could lose everything I've made just by putting on shares now and it just breaking in here. I don't want to trade in the middle. If you guys can find anything, I mean, maybe an Alibaba, like this is what you need to trade now. Stop. Oh, geez. Yo, what's up, Brian? We just bounced off VWAP again right there on Alibaba. So in what was probably a good trade, bouncing off that VWAP right there. Yeah, we missed that, but that's okay. Again, I probably would have been looking for the break lower, so that's all right. But anyways, there's a good trade for Alibaba. Like if that trade was anywhere around here, 97, then we could play off that level now. But I think the best thing to do is sit on your hands now. We'll take some questions, or I'll look for other trades. I don't have a problem.
I have a question for you, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, go.
I got out of Coinbase. You'll see here. I'll show you why in just like 2 seconds. So there's the local high that got the run to 100. It just double bottomed it. So I'm gonna get out. We only have like 17 minutes left. It actually isn't my question.
All right.
Euthanasia just asked who gets the keyboard that you broke, which I don't know what happened to it.
I mean, whoever's at the dump.
Was it thrown in the garbage?
Yes, it's immediately thrown in the garbage.
Did you take a picture of it?
No, I'll just drop this keyboard to show everybody what I did before.
The irony about it, and I don't know if you remember this, but the only person that I know on the head office trading floor who's ever broken multiple keyboards is also named Sean.
Ah.
Because
but that was
Debo broke like 3.
Oh yeah. But
Debo broke like.
I was just frustrated. So we used to do in the midday show.
It was very different.
While we were switching over, we had to sit over there, and so I went over there. And I don't know. You're the one that told me. You noticed the tab wasn't working.
There was issues with it.
Right. So then I went over there. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with this keyboard? Yeah. I kept on trying it. Then I just unplugged it and chucked it and got another one immediately. So that's what people are talking about. But
there were a couple of keys.
Thank you, Youth, for asking.
It was probably going into the trash anyways, just for everybody. But when Debo did it, There was nothing wrong with those keyboards. He just got a little frustrated.
Yeah. And I don't look, as much as we talk about, being calm and everything like that, some of the stuff is just for the show. Like I just dropped it in the back. I don't think you would want to waste any of your keyboards, but that one was not
it was.
Right.
And as a trader, it's not. Look, a broken keyboard is not getting used here. You cannot.
Like,
the second something is wrong with it, I don't care if it's a key or use or don't. Like it's
I'm
gotta
not
get
just
out of the
sitting
way.
here smashing. I mean, I've never smashed. I mean, I'm trying to think about like what could I throw around here. I don't know. Wife went to Costco today because we ran out of ibuprofen.
Really
My
shouldn't
foot's
throw
starting to
anything.
hurt.
I finally replaced Sean's reaction.
What do you mean Sean's still justifying it? What's up, random scenes?
It's not justification. It is 100% true. I had mentioned to him
mean,
we
it
were
wasn't
rotating
working.
onto the midday show, and I went first, and I came back and I'm having an issue with one of the keys being stuck, and I warned him ahead of time, and then it was the same thing like 20 minutes later. So of course it's got to get.
See ya.
All
right,
so
let's
Rivian,
keep
someone's
going.
asked about Rivian and Tesla rejected 269, Rivian rejected 26 at the same time. I feel as if these are charts that look very similar. I mean, we were just looking at Tesla. Let me try and...
Tesla 269 again?
Like, I'm going to do this. Now I have I wanted to show it side by side, but I have a really bad wick on this. It's going to make it impossible. But you guys saw Tesla with a double top at the high. It's much stronger than Rivian. Rivian's big level, 26, maybe that's a big deal. But if you're not paying attention to Rivian at 27, oh, babe, when this breaks, if this breaks away from here, that is a long that needs to be had. It's been a good short. I mean, it was a short one time, obviously last week, but once this breaks away from that range, I'm really pining for that breakout. Maybe you get a little bit overeager, but every time it takes out this channel break high, I want to have that long and take the shot on Rivian, because when you pull up that daily chart, like, where could you go here? That's what I start thinking. I mean, why not to 28, 29? And even think bigger, like, why not see that 30 to 35 level? The downtrend isn't really broken until you get above 40s on Rivian. Yeah, I know you've broken the major moving averages and all that good stuff, but when you really pull it farther back, I don't think you've broken the downtrend until you get above like 30, at minimum 33. Definitely the 40s could be in play. But yeah, both Rivian and Tesla, some strong names here. I'm just still in NIO. I think we're going to get that. We're going to get that pullback off of VWAP, which you just mentioned on BABA. That's probably the reason I didn't get that fill on Rivian. Super SPACman, I know you prefer 27, but is it only going to give 26? I mean, today, yes. I don't think there's any chance it's getting to 27 today.
What is it at now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 25.80.
No,
it just flushed through 26.
There's only 15 minutes left.
If I had a crystal ball to be able to tell you it's going to get to 27 at some point. That's the thing. Only going to give 26? Well, it depends on your time frame. At some point, it's breaking 27. I don't know. The question most people would be asking, is it breaking 27 before it breaks 23 down?
Right.
I tend to feel like it's been strong enough. The answer is yes. Because it's not been spending a lot of time at the bottom, and it has multiple challenges at the top. So it feels pretty strong up here. So if I had to guess, I'd say it looks like it wants to break out the top before it takes out this 23 bottom. That's just what it's looked like to me. But it was a heck of a rejection of that 27 break last time. It feels like when we get to that bottom, it doesn't spend any time down there, but you have at least some consolidations. You hold the gap a little bit better up at that high. It's all a guess. And, I'm here to play the breakout trade anyway, so I doubt I'll be in it unless I'm trading it at the 23 bottom or off 27. So I just mentioned about NEO not getting to VWAP. BABA bounced off VWAP. So this is probably a good time to just get out. We got 3 minutes till the imbalances. The next trade I make is very likely to be a cheeky trade off said imbalances at 350. Maybe a 270 short if there's a pop at 350 on Tesla.
All right, I'm just canceling my AMD. Hold on a second, got to cancel that. So what I'm going to do now in front of everybody is just put out my stop order. Oops, see, I almost put 101 again. 110, look, I'm just going to use what I'm using here because we do have those numbers coming in. I'm gonna explain them to the right there. Let's just go 110.66. I mean, I think we could probably get a little bit of a better price on that. Let's just see if it does come out there. That's where we're gonna get out. The stop initially was obviously a lot higher on this trade, or a lot higher up here. This trade was going to come out for about 20 cents worth of a hit. So the fact that we've been able to take this money has been pretty good. I was at like 110.10 or something, so I didn't even have a bid down here. So I don't feel that bad about missing it, but still, we are going to give a little bit back up here, especially if it doesn't pull down. So we'll have to watch out for that here into the close. And then this is what we're looking at right now. If you're anywhere in the world, well, even if you're in Toronto, you probably have a little bit of a delay here on the number. So right now it's 348.14, 348.15, 348.16. So if you're a little bit behind that, just look down at your PC clock or whatever you're watching on. That's where we are right now. So if you're wondering about, hey, are these live quotes or not, we could be a couple seconds behind. I feel like, wherever you're located, maybe just put it in the chat, like if you're in SoCal or whatever, maybe you're behind by 3 or 4 seconds. It's all going to depend on your internet connection, right? We don't buffer anything or put a delay in or anything like that. Whatever YouTube does, it does. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And again, just thanks to everybody for coming through and watching us one more time here today as, we're doing it here. We're trying to make a couple trades for you. And right now, just 1 minute left before these imbalances, which is why we're trying to get out of everything. We only have, because we got that good fill on Google down there, we only have 10% left. We had 20% or 30% there. Took 2 more fills. It just touched the bottom as well. So we'll have to see where we go here on Google. But for right now, it's looking like all these numbers are going to come out. It's not a big number. Brendan gave us 3 million to sell. But maybe there's some hangover from the rebalance from Friday.
That's certainly possible. I usually tend to look in the other direction, which is weird because I was thinking like pop into Tesla and short it, but I'm expecting sometimes you get like a big sell event on a Friday and then it comes mostly to the buy side on a Monday, but it was so mixed on Friday anyways that it might not matter. Got 15 seconds to go. The only thing I'm looking at is if there's a pop on some kind of a buy and balance into Tesla, it's $1 away, that I can just sit and try and pick it up just in front of the 269. We got 5 seconds to go. I'm going to have it here for you all live. I did get my bid on NEO, so I'm out of that. It wasn't VWAP, but we'll take it. That 12 short was good. What's good? Not much not anything big.
No, nothing of mine is moving.
ENB, Google's there, 700,000 to sell. That's not that much. BAC, Amazon's a small sell, 560,000.
Look how one Google's buy, one Google's sell. Do you have
that's
that?
weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's weird. So nothing to be seen. NEO's a buy, 500,000. Good thing we got out, didn't move anyways. Mullen, that's way too small. What else is there? Siri, that's pretty small for a $5 stock, 450,000. Lucid's a buy, 400,000. Meta's a sell of 400,000. So most of the big tech, I'd say small sells. 489,000 to sell is the actual number there. So not that big of an imbalance in either direction. Of course, Coin didn't have an imbalance. I just gotten out of it and it pulls right back into said VWAP. Not much to see. I have no point putting on or trying to put that trade on in Tesla. What I would have needed to happen is some kind of buy imbalance that would have pushed it, spike up to 270, then you play the rubber band effect. Hope to just catch a fill at like 80 or 90, risk 20 cents, and then it just comes right back to the downside once the algos stop buying on the imbalance. So I'm now out. We'll see what they do updating at 355. Very likely you're going to get some pairing. Maybe some of those will grow. NVIDIA's weak. The market has just turned red 2 seconds ago. And Ryan Reynolds is about 3 times as famous as Ryan Gosling.
Oh, yeah. I think especially recently. I think it also depends on your age, I think, too, right?
Yeah, but Deadpool, everybody likes.
Yeah. He's been in more.
I feel like...
It's like you just said there about the box office, right?
I've only seen Ryan Gosling films that I'm watching because my wife picked them.
I never even seen Notebook. If she wants to watch that, watch that.
I'm just saying. I think the actress is Canadian in that too. Oh, Canada.
Canada's,
I think.
Canada's just dominating.
I'm like 75% sure of that might not be true. Rachel
McAdams. Yes, that's Canadian.
She's Canadian, right? I was pretty sure about that.
Dude, isn't she married to Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds?
They're married?
Yeah, McAdams.
No.
They dated or something? No.
No, Ryan Reynolds is married to the other blonde.
Blake
Lively. That's the one.
Yeah, and he owns that football team as well. So, okay, all right. So let's just go into the close here and see what's going on. AMD did make that move a little bit down. I don't know. Maybe we should let's just take this fill if we can get it like 37s. I'm going to cancel. I was sitting there at in the 20s. Let's see if we can get it down. I'm trying to be a little bit specific here and trying to see if we can get a bigger move down. Doesn't look like that wants to happen. Google's a funny one because it was a sell and there was a buy there as well. So depending on the class of shares that you're short, I guess, or long.
That's very weird.
But again, this just made its move back into the 21 period again. So 121.32. I didn't even have a bid on this. So Yeah, so there's that. Let's just see if that does want to come back in one more time for Google. I am now bidding. No, I'm not. I'm bidding 121.30 on Google, and on AMD. I actually didn't put a bid out on AMD. So let's just bid that here on Google. See if we can get that out right into here. Yeah, so that'd be a good fill. And then on AMD, sorry, is where we want one in the 30s. So let's put another one here. Let's just go to 40. If we get a 40 fill on that, I think that'll be doing pretty good. So, hey, man, to end the day right now, let's see if we can get it. Some good fills here to close the show. We'll see if we can get about 50 cents on both of these names, and that'll be the end of that one. And then we could just move on with our, next trades, which won't be happening today because the market is about closed. This AUR, sometimes you get bigger imbalances on sort of like more random names. There it is right there. Spin the money because there's Google. So again, Google, we just sort of put this on. This automatically went right there to took over. No, Softy's still number one today. Google pushing it right there with that out. So now we're out of Google at that low, and it looks like we are moments away, hopefully, from this fill as well on AMD down here on the downside of that trade. So, hey, man, so far so good. Thank everybody for watching. If you haven't hit the like button yet, then,
do it.
Quite frankly, Neil. Oh, there's AMD right there as well. So that's giving it to everybody as well right there into the close. So once again, thanks so much for watching, and make sure you do this at least.
Like and subscribe today.
I mean, over 4,000 people watching, at least we did have that, and into the close. Yeah, there it is, 4,000. Okay, yeah, good. 8. All right, so if I don't think our guest of the day is here or anything like that, so if we're lucky enough, we'll get Ramin or Kat on the bell, and AJ rang it early this morning. So
AJ's been all over the bell.
yeah,
AJ also broke the mallet.
yeah.
Which was don't worry about it. It was already broken.
The mallet will get
We
fixed.
should
Randy's
really
here.
just get a new mallet. It's
We
not
have
that.
we have glue. I mean, it's just wood.
Yeah, but it's already been glued like 3 times. It's
Wood
just gonna break.
mallet. Who's going to be in the number
And replace
1,000 there? You are going to get a free shout out.
I will. No, I've already liked it. I hadn't, and that's how I knew
Or
we
I'll
were at
just do
700 because
shout-outs
I had hit
anyways.
it. Anyways, you're gonna get that 1,000's almost like a lock. There was supposed to be a spinoff for Liberty Media and the Atlanta Braves public thing, but I don't see it on the imbalance thing. So I was just looking out for it to see if it was there, but there's no size.
Do you know any of the symbols, or maybe
It's BATRK. So the imbalance is nothing on. I checked.
so it is up there.
It is up there, but it's not really anything. The AUR, it actually did not pair off. That's about the only thing of interest after 355. Ford is $1 million to buy now. I didn't see it there before, but this AUR, it's a small stock, so 2.5 million to shares on a $3 stock isn't that big of a deal. It did make a slight move up. So there was. I mean, if you looked at that board and then punched long in this, you actually got a couple of cents if you're into it.
Yeah.
But I was checking to see if there was some kind of reason why this was on the imbalance locator, like an index action. I couldn't find anything for AUR here, but we'll track it. Like I said, there was no trades off the 350 imbalance. Probably hitting this for a couple of cents is the best you would have done off the locator. It'll probably pair off at 358 if there's no real action here. And then Ford's already paired off half.
All right, so big shout out. Yeah, B8 Batra, someone put in there. Great show today. Thank you so much, Judge, for that. Whenever you're judged by a judge, and he goes ahead and tells us we had a good show, I think we did have a good show. So
yes.
Thank you for the likes and the subscribes and for just everything, man. I mean, we're here for everybody. We could trade in silence, but we choose not that. So right there's a nice play for us on Google down to the downside. CCJ Mullen. Reverse split right back to where we saw it many times. Look at this reverse split. We talked about this when this happened, man. It's just like you're just reverse splitting just to catch people, and then it's all the way up. I mean,
I feel bad for anybody caught this.
I don't.
I do.
I mean, I feel bad for anybody that loses money. That's for sure. But if you're watching the show, we talk all the time about these reverse splits and what that kind of means for. Especially for names, you're reverse splitting for a reason, right? So unless there's another reason there, but if you're reversing to stay underneath because you're not meeting NASDAQ requirements and things like that, you just got to make sure that you have maybe a better reason why you're reverse splitting, and it would always be kind of negative reasons anyways. So and there's probably some, and we said this last time, if you know of a reverse split for NASDAQ delisting purposes that is back, that's actually held some of those levels, let us know, because I still don't see one.
Oh, it happened. I'm sure it's happened historically. It has to have happened several times. But it's because there's so many stocks that go to penny stocks and get that notice that you know there's going to be a few out there. I mean, it's just Mullen's the most egregious example that I've seen in my entire career, trading career. I've never seen anything quite like this one. That's the only reason I say I feel bad, because usually you don't see it's as fast as it did. 10 cents, do the reverse split, it's right back at 10 cents. It's at 13 cents now. Just to jog everybody's memory, there was an epic bounce off 10 cents last time, and it did a nice little double up. So that's the trade I'd be looking for next, a little 10-cent bounce. See if you can't make a little bit of a rally. That probably doesn't help anybody out in the long term. That's just a fact.
No,
we got about a minute to go here. I guess we do not have a guest, so it'll be
not.
Katrine or AJ or somebody's going to be on the bell.
Katrine.
She can't even eat her lunch, but she'll ring the bell. Ramin's going to ring the bell?
Ramin has accepted. Player 2 has entered the building right now. So thank you, Ramin, for
You
that
could look
one.
a little bit enthused. No, I'm just kidding. You could look a little bit enthused.
Yeah, I prefer Ramin. Ramin's got the dancing. He's got everything going on there.
Exactly.
I prefer both. They're great.
What's up now,
Great
Kat?
member of our team, and Ramin. Actually, our newest member, Ramin.
That's right.
Right, so there we go. She'll be ringing the bell very, very
Where's the
soon. I want to
confetti
thank her for all the cool stuff. Ramin's doing all this stuff for us on Instagram, making us look better than we are. So thank you so much to Ramin. for all of that.
Nobody's sending you hate mail, Ramin.
Someone sent that to you?
No,
Okay,
no,
good.
no.
You let me know who they are.
We'll beat him up.
Next thing you know, concrete shoes for everybody.
No, we'll get Pratt to take him out because he knows jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah. Pratt said he was getting punched up a little, but you know what? He's probably. That's not something you learn overnight.
No,
that's not something you learn.
Full credit.
Does that
to
look
my-
like a man that you're
full
scared
credit.
of? That's another thing. Look at this baby face. He's too nice of a guy. There, Pratt. All right, 5 seconds to go. Pratt flexing the after show coming up soon. 3, 2, 1. It's Ramin time. Oh. And I got.
Pratt's too wholesome.
I had 3 stop orders out there because none of the end. Tesla didn't get stopped because we didn't take it.
Yep.
AMD and Google, and then it's nice when it does come back to the end of that. So there you go. There, Ramin, of course, gets a lot of love on the chat.
Of course.
That's what all of our viewers love, everybody here. So thank you so much to that. But yeah, hey, look, it was a busy day. It was a very, very busy day. Brankel's yelling at everybody behind to have orders out. Meanwhile, I look over, I have an order out. So that was pretty cool.
It happens.
Right there. Thanks, Brankels, for that. Let's go back over to the desk now with Breno to see how this kind of meh day ended up.
You can make it officially 11 in a row, though, guys, for the Dow wins the day here, 0.5%, 0.52 to the upside, 11 straight. 0.4 for the S&P, all 3 of the Russells positive. NASDAQ holds on, 0.19, 0.14, yeah, kind of meh.
Meh, yeah.
A little bit.
Just a shout out to
Plenty to look at,
Mighty
though.
Silent Warrior today. We helped he or she make $885 today. So that is fantastic. No matter how much, it doesn't even matter. You could have said $8. Any number that is on the green side is positive. And even if you lost today, it's more about understanding, where the risk was for you, what stocks you were looking at, how you traded them, and can you replicate tomorrow? Because this is what I always say. You could sit here and have a fantastic day. And if you just blow it all tomorrow, then it's like today didn't even matter. So stay tuned, stay in the zone, stay in your lane, things like that. And you will just continue, hopefully, that trend. And just because, you could go through a month of bad trades, but if you're sticking with what you're doing and learning from your mistakes, then eventually, hopefully, and
Trust
it
the
doesn't happen
process.
for everybody, but yeah, trusting the process and sort of figuring out what you do wrong. And I was actually with that Nimit guy at lunch, and he was like, you know what, a lot of trading is psychological. And I was like, exactly.
So much of it.
It's like the minute you can get comfortable holding more shares, taking on the proper risk, and really just not battling yourself all the time, then dealing with the market's hard enough.
The market's
let
going
alone
to give
bad
you
habits.
it's going to give you opportunities, but it's going to humble you pretty quick. And you just have to make sure that you are listening to all of the things that you're being taught by the market every single day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So if
good
you do
point.
that, then you just one day becomes the next. That's what we're here for every single day because we learn a heck of a lot from you guys as well. We're chewing into Bradley's time here.
Nah, it's only 4:02, but I
It's all
think Pratt will be okay for that. But yeah, good points. Well, I want to thank. We had Michael Noss earlier, of course, and then I want to thank Michael Noss for coming through. I want to thank Daniel Shea for coming. That was a great interview there. We will, Brendan, ship her a new camera. We'll get that all figured out. Although I know she goes on other shows that may have a bigger budget than us.
Maybe
which
they
probably-
should.
they should ship another
You'd think
camera
so, right?
to her. So thanks, Daniel Shea. Thanks, Brendan. That was a great interview, of course. But yeah, tomorrow, Brendo, another day. Did we want to flip up that? Is it too much to get that earnings board, or there wasn't much? Teladoc is aftermarket tomorrow. I don't think there's much today, right, Brad? I don't think.
No, they're mostly
No, there's not
aftermarket
much today.
tomorrow.
Okay, so
Put me on the spot.
No, I don't think there is, Brendan. I think we talked about a few names that were
If
the
there's
25th.
anything, stick around and Pratt will tell you.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
not
talk
even
about
right.
it afterwards. Good one.
Yeah,
That's
no. Pratt will
Yeah, that's
have it
kind of the
covered.
point of the show, so
Yeah,
I think that's a good
it'll
one.
work.
So, all right, so without any further ado, let's get it over to Pratt. Thanks, everybody, for watching again today. Thank you for all the likes. Ramin, AJ, Fabian, the girl behind us, Prad, Max, everybody, of course, that's Kat. Everybody, thank you for watching. We're back tomorrow, so don't sleep on us. 8:30 a.m., we're back. Kill 'em, Prad.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the after party, the after show, where we cover everything that moves based on earnings or any other catalyst, anything that moved today and anything that could move tomorrow, and see how we can maybe add some more money to our podcast. I'm your host, Trader Prad, and a couple